The angel that appears here is naturally Bardas, the guardian of the sixth universe. Originally, Bardas was destroying the training of Xiangpa in the divine world, but suddenly he sensed a destructive force from the lower world, so Bardas created a clone to track this force. You have to know that Bardas is a master of the late true god stage. Even if he is a clone, he has the power to destroy the limit. Moreover, he is going there not for fighting, but for exploration. In order to lure Bardas to come, Sun Tian naturally would not release energy below the limit of destruction, but it could not be higher than the true god stage. So when he sensed that a clone of Bardas was coming, he directly used the true god-level energy to tear open the barrier outside the frozen star, and then released an energy ball with the limit of destruction, and hid in the inner world. Moreover, the energy used by Sun Tian also simulated the evil aura of the frozen clan as much as possible. This was not a problem at all for Sun Tian, who was practicing the ancient ape demonic art. If Bardas came in person, he might be able to find the problem, but just a clone was far from enough. Adros was very angry. Although they were the ones who sat on the fence in ancient times, they had already received corresponding punishment. They did not expect that these angels would not let them go until now. But Adros was able to escape from ancient times and live to this day, so he is naturally not a fool. Why was Frost visited by the angels shortly after he returned? Could it be that the man is really a god? But this shouldn't be right. If it was a god, there would be no need to go through so much trouble. There would be no pressure at all to destroy them now. But if it was not a god, that's not right. Could that person be the current god of destruction? Yes, no wonder that man said that he was not afraid even if the god of destruction came, because he himself was the god of destruction. This also explains why the angels came to him as soon as General Frost came back. It is really scary to make up stories in your mind. Something that was originally fictitious becomes real after being made up in your mind. Bardas, the clone, laughed. I didn't expect that there is actually a sixth transformation frozen clan. Not bad, really not bad. The Ice clan was very powerful in ancient times. In normal state, 3 transformation form is normal state, their combat power was basically over tens of millions. With the change of form, the strongest combat power of 4 transformation can reach the beginning of destruction, which is nearly 10 billion combat power. The strongest combat power of 5 transformation form can reach the peak of destruction, which is nearly 200 billion. The strongest combat power of 6 transformation form can reach the limit of destruction. If it reaches 7 transformation, it is already the realm of true god. It is rumored that the ancient frozen demon can achieve 9 transformation, which is the limit of the true god's combat power. It's a pity that the ancient frozen demon did not complete the legendary 10 transformation form, but even so, the Ice clan is one of the 7 ancient clans. Among the 7 ancient clans, the strongest are naturally the angels and demons, followed by the Scions, then the Ice clan and the Namek clan. The Kaioshin clan is the most mysterious, and the Death clan controls the world of reincarnation. Adros was only frightened by the identity of the angels at first. Now that he had calmed down, he realized that the angel in front of him did not seem to have an angel heart, but was a pure energy body. Why, do you think you want to destroy our clan with just one clone? After knowing that the angel in front of him was just a clone, Adros reacted quickly and sent a message to the 7 strongest members of the tribe, quickly resealing the barrier of the frozen star and trapping the clone of Bardas inside. We need to know why the frozen star has not been discovered for countless years. On the one hand, it is too remote. On the other hand, a barrier was set up in ancient times. Only the blood of the frozen clan or the energy above the true god level can pass through the barrier. To discover it, one must be at least at the peak of the true god level. It was because Sun Tian knew that Frost disappeared here that he was able to find clues and successfully perform his magic. After all, Bardas's clone only has the power of destruction. When he arrived, he just found a crack and drilled in. Now the barrier is directly closed by the Ice clan, and he feels a little guilty. The most important thing is that he can't sense the existence of the original body now. To destroy the god realm, Bardas originally thought that one clone would be enough to deal with it, but he didn't expect that just now, the sensation of that clone disappeared. Bardas had a bad feeling and quickly went to the place where the sensation disappeared before. The frozen planet, under Adros's command, was isolated from the 6th universe again. At the same time, the emergency measures laid out in ancient times were also activated, and the entire planet was directly moved to other star regions in the 6th universe. When Bardas arrived, there was no trace of them in this dark space. What's going on? Is there a secret in the 6th universe that I don't know about? Since the clone was not retracted, although Bardas could sense the clone's location, he had no idea what the clone saw or heard. Bardas searched the area carefully but found nothing, so he had to return to the god of destruction. On the frozen star, within the barrier, Bardas's clone knew that she was probably careless this time. She had just used her strongest power to open the barrier, but the barrier did not move at all. Adros sneered, "Don't waste your energy. Without the blood of the frozen clan or the power of a late true god, do you think you can break through this barrier with just your clone?" Just saying this, Adros secretly thought that it was not good. Since the angel in front of him did not have the power of a true god, how did he tear open the barrier just now? You know, after Frost entered the frozen star, this barrier was closed. In other words, in addition to the angel in front of him, there was a third strong man hiding beside him. And it was this strong man who tore open the barrier of the frozen star and attracted the angel in front of him to come and investigate. When I saw the clone of Bados before, I mistakenly thought that it was this clone that was torn apart. After all, Bados was a powerful being in the late stage of true god, and a clone would naturally have the power of a true god. But now it seems that everything before was taken for granted. Could it be that the god Frost mentioned was not the god of destruction, but the real god? However, the most urgent task is to get rid of the angel in front of him, otherwise when the angel's real body arrives, things will be serious. The Bardas clone saw that the barrier was unbreakable, but he was not afraid. You know, even if it was just a clone, it had the power to destroy the limit. It might be a little worse than the 6 transformation frozen clan in front of him, but the others were many times stronger. Open the barrier and let me out. This is over. Otherwise, at least half of your group of frozen demons will die. Although the death of a clone would have an impact on Bardas, it would not cause too serious damage to his original body. But if he could survive, even the clone would be willing to face death. But Edros is not a child. If the angel's promises were trustworthy, the Scions and Namekians would not have been forced into a war that lasted for nearly 10,000 years in ancient times. Once he really let go of the clone, Adros believed that the real body would definitely come to kill him the next day. Moreover, they had just taken emergency measures to move the frozen star. Without tens of thousands of years of recuperation, there was no way they could move it again. Therefore, no matter what, they could not let the angel clone in front of them go. Adros sneered, "Miss Angel, do you really think that our ice clan is a group of monkeys like the Scions? Single-celled organisms that only know how to fight. We dare not believe your promise, so you better stay here." Bardas knew that the situation could not be eased. "In that case, let me see how many of you have to die before you can keep me here." Adros began to raise his energy, and a cold breath began to spread. On the other side, Bardas also began to take it seriously, paying close attention to the distribution of the Frozen clan, and calculating how to inflict the greatest losses on the Frozen clan. As the ancestral planet of the Ice clan, the Frozen planet is naturally not comparable to ordinary planets in terms of solidity. Even compared with the King of God realm, it is not inferior at all, and is even better. The Battle of Destruction limit is completely possible to bear. Bardas immediately starts to use his ultimate move. Time goes back. Although the clone can only make a part of the space go back a few seconds, how much can a few seconds do for the strong? When Edros reacted, there was no trace of Bardas. On the Frozen planet, most of the 7 most powerful men of the Ice clan who were at the peak of their power of destruction had died. Only 3 were still alive, and one of them had been seriously injured. "Asshole, you actually played dirty tricks on me." Adros rushed over quickly and fought with Bardas. With Adros restraining him, Bardas knew that it was impossible to kill the other 3. However, Bados did not confront Adros head-on. If he seized the opportunity, dozens of Emperor-level frozen demons would die, but Bados also suffered considerable injuries. "Don't run away. If you have the guts, fight me head-on and kill the Emperor-level little guy. Are you still an angel?" Adros was very anxious. Both of them were extremely powerful masters of extreme destruction. Their speed was so fast that sometimes a little aftermath could completely destroy some Emperor-level frozen people. He even killed several members of the Frozen clan by mistake. Baduz was not provoked at all and flew towards the crowded place. Adros was furious, "You forced me to do this. Even if I have to recuperate for another 100 years, I will kill you." Adros suddenly stopped, and the aura around him surged again, forbidden technique, ancestral soul possession. For a moment, Adros's combat power actually broke through the limit of destruction and reached a whole new realm. Bardas felt bad. He was no match for them in the first place, and now he was even less of a match. "Ha ha ha, I didn't expect that I would die at the hands of you frozen demons. In that case, let's die together." Self-destruction, this is the only thing Bardas can do now. With a bang, the entire Frozen planet was shaking. The self-destruction of the clone of destruction limit, although it could not blow up the frozen planet, it also completely changed the environment of the frozen planet. Assholes, angels, damn it, I didn't expect you to be so domineering. The ice planet is frozen all year round, which is very suitable for the survival of the frozen clan. However, Bardas's self-explosion directly blew the continental plates into pieces. There was volcanic magma everywhere, and the glaciers that had not melted for millions of years began to melt. The frozen clan lost thousands of people in this self-explosion. Adros was filled with hatred, but he could do nothing about it. If there were still true god-level warriors in my tribe, how could we end up like this? After instructing 3 men at the peak of destruction to appease the remaining tribesmen, Adros began to extinguish the erupting volcanoes everywhere. It took more than half a day to calm down the turmoil. After statistics, it was found that at least tens of thousands of tribesmen had died. One should know that the frozen clan had a total of only a few 100,000 people, and the number of people had shrunk by 1/10 in an instant. 4 people were lost in the peak of destruction, nearly 50 people died from the early to late stages of destruction, and there were thousands of strong people above the late Emperor stage. Although the combat power of the others was not very good, that was the foundation of their clan, and they lost their lives in this battle. In the world of the god of destruction, when Bardas's clone self-destructed, Bardas felt a pain in his heart. Then Xiangpa found that Bardas, who always behaved like a lady, suddenly became irritable. If Xiangpa found anything wrong, he would start to show off his skills. The poor god of destruction was directly turned into a human sandbag. Bardas, what are you doing? Xiangpana's fat body kept twitching, like a young wife who had been angry. There was not a single intact piece of skin on his body, which showed how badly he had been beaten. Shut up, you fat pig, I'm helping you lose weight. Xiangpa was about to refute, but when she thought of the bloody lesson she had just learned, she decided to be patient for a while. Unfortunately, she was attacked again by Bados, who used the excuse of looking down on her. Neither of them noticed that in the starry sky of the destruction god realm, a figure suddenly appeared on a planet. Who else could it be but Sun Tian? The explosion of Bardas's clone was not fatal, but Bardas was indeed much weaker. It was already good that Bardas could exert the strength of a mid-stage true god. In addition, his soul was damaged, so he did not notice that there was an extra person in the destruction god realm. Suddenly, a voice sounded and saved Changpa from his misery. Hey, how come you, the god of destruction, have become a sandbag? Kampa is the god of destruction of the 6th universe, but he is also the weakest god of destruction among the 12 universes today. Compared with his brother Beerus, he is far inferior in both strength and life. But it doesn't mean that he, Xiangpa, has no dignity. It's okay that he is being used as a punching bag by Bados now, because he really can't beat him. But this scene was seen by others, which is unacceptable. Xiangpa was very angry. Asshole, who are you? How dare you come to destroy the god realm? Xiangpa was a man of unruly, unreasonable, violent, arrogant and willful character. He would destroy all the stars and lives in front of him if he was not satisfied. Now that this scene was seen by outsiders, he was naturally furious. When he saw the person clearly, he didn't expect it was just a human being. This made Xiangpa want to get even more furious, but unfortunately his brain seemed to be not working well. He didn't think that he could afford to offend someone who could easily come to the realm of the god of destruction and not be discovered by Bardas. The person who came was naturally Sun Tian. Ever since he led Bardas's clone into the frozen star, Sun Tian had been hiding. After Bardas's clone was destroyed, Sun Tian directly tore through the protective barrier of the frozen star and teleported out from it. Adros was not alarmed at that time. After all, Sun Tian already knew the strength of the Ice Clan and could destroy them at any time. Moreover, Sun Tian also needed the Ice Clan to attract the eyes of the Angel Clan. After leaving the frozen star, Sun Tian went directly to the realm of the god of destruction and discovered that after Bardas's clone was destroyed, his strength had dropped from the late true god stage to the middle stage. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Sun Tian ignored Xiangpa's extreme destructive combat power was not even comparable to Adros before, so Sun Tian naturally did not take him seriously. Instead, he directly faced Bardas. World Domain, Projection of Heaven and Earth. When Bardas was targeted, she realized something was wrong. After all, she was not Xiangpa. What? My power has been suppressed to the early stage of true god. Who are you? This move was realized by Sun Tian after refining the heart of the universe. It is considered an enhanced version of the domain. Even if it is a being of the same level, once it falls into it, its strength will be suppressed, not to mention that Bardas is at its weakest at this moment. Bados, a powerful person in the late stage of true God. It's you. After Sun Tian used his domain, Xiangpa no longer dared to shout. He had never felt the might just now, even on Bardos. Who was this person who suddenly appeared? When did such a strong man appear in the sixth universe? Who are you? Do you want to be an enemy of our angels? Compared to the name of God Clan, the Angel Clan actually prefers to call themselves the Angel Clan, and the talents of the World Core Clan always regard themselves as God Clan. The aura on Sun Tian's body has naturally changed, and his entire appearance is no longer his own, but has changed into another race. Therefore, Bardos does not know that Sun Tian is a scion. Moreover, after practicing the ancient ape demonic art, Sun Tian's aura was different from that of the scions, and he was more like a demon. After hearing what Bardos said, Sun Tian didn't intend to explain anything and just took action. If the battle between two true god-level warriors were to unfold in full force, the entire divine realm might be torn down. However, Sun Tian used his domain right from the start to suppress Bados's combat power to the extreme. Sun Tian didn't want to cause any trouble, so he attacked with all his strength. Bados had lost his clone not long ago, and now his combat power was suppressed to the early stage of true god. Naturally, he was no match for Sun Tian. The two fought for less than 10 rounds before Bardos was severely injured. What do you want to do? Just now, Bardos didn't want to use his magical powers to leave directly, but there was always a mysterious force preventing him from leaving. The severely injured Bardos was caught by Sun Tian, and then his power was sealed. Sun Tianxie smiled and said, "What can I do?" "Naturally, I will seal you up and lock you up." Afterwards, Sun Tian directly sent the severely injured and sealed Bados into the inner world, while Xiangpa on the side was so frightened that he dared not make a sound. Who is this person who is so strong? Xiangpa thought, could he be silenced? You know, he just cursed at someone. At this moment, Xiangpa regretted it so much. What happened today? First, he was beaten by Bardos like a sandbag, and then he cursed at someone who was even more terrifying than Bardos. After dealing with Bardos, Sun Tian turned back to look at Xiangpa. How can a dignified god of destruction be so cowardly? Without waiting for Xiangpa to react, Sun Tian disappeared from the destruction god realm, leaving Xiangpa shivering alone. On an unnamed planet in the human world, Sun Tian's figure slowly appeared. I wonder when the angels of the true god realm will find that the angels of this universe have disappeared. In the seventh universe, the angel Whis looked at Beerus who was still sleeping. For some reason, Whis felt that something was going to happen. Then Whis took out his angel scepter. The angel scepter is not only for appearance, but also a super artifact that allows angels to communicate with each other and check the situation in the lower world at any time. Only the guardian angels of the 12 universes can have it. As Weiss channeled his divine power and thoughts, pictures appeared on the scepter. King of the gods, why is there only one king of the gods from the lower world? Where did the king of the gods go? The picture turned again, and the pictures in the lower universe kept changing. Suddenly, the angel's staff seemed to be disturbed by something, and no more pictures were transmitted. That's strange. Who could possibly interfere with the scepter's detection? Weiss thought of the sudden prying in the god realm more than a year ago, and always felt that he had revealed something. In the Milky Way star region, after Sun Tian left more than a year ago, the Silver Martial Empire continued to develop rapidly, but more than half a year ago, the entire star region suddenly had a strange smell. After nearly half a year, the magician Babidi finally found the location where Majin Buu's sealed egg was. However, there are too many powerful people on the Demon Martial Saint Star. Even if Babidi finds the Demon King Depura from the true demon realm, it will be of no avail. As a last resort, Babidi had to postpone the plan of releasing Majin Buu and return to the true demon realm to find stronger help. In the true demon realm, a new force suddenly rose up 16 years ago. No one knew where this group of demons came from. It was as if they suddenly appeared. At the beginning, this force was just average. And this force was none other than Azura and others who ascended from the demon realm of Earth that year. When the demon moon was in the sky that year, the power of the demon moon increased tenfold, causing most of the demons in the demon realm of Earth to directly ascend into the real demon realm. At that time, the combat power of their strongest Azura was only a little over 10,000, while Gora and Miss Mira were only a little over 6,000, not to mention that the highest combat power of some other demons was only a little over 3,000. If this fighting force was still in the human world, it would be considered a good force. But what is the real demon world? To put it bluntly, the weakest one has a fighting force of hundreds of thousands. At the beginning, Azura and others could hardly withstand the gravity of the true demon realm. Fortunately, the place they flew into was at the edge of the true demon realm, which was only about 15 times the gravity of the original Earth demon realm. However, since the space was more stable than the 7th universe, even Asura, with a combat power of tens of thousands, could only walk on the ground and could not fly at all. At first, Asura and others thought they had returned to their original upper demon world, but they didn't know that this place was no longer in the same universe as the upper demon world where their family lived. The true demon realm is the final destination of all demons in the universe. The energy level here is higher. Asura and his friends were able to fight Sun Tian to a draw at the beginning. Although they had the advantage of age, it also showed that their qualifications were definitely very good. Taking advantage of the training environment of the true demon realm, the combat power of the demons who ascended with Asura and the others increased rapidly. In just less than 3 years, the combat power of Asura, Galamila and Mela increased many times. According to General Sane, Asura at this time has reached the Emperor level, with a combat power of more than 500 million, while Galamra and the other two have reached a combat power of more than 100 million. Although the rest of the demons are not as powerful as these three, they have basically entered the star domain level, and the strongest even has a combat power of nearly 30 million. The true demon realm, true god realm, and samsara realm are different from the 12 universes. They are not constructed on the basis of planets, but are instead a very, very large continent. Although there are planets dotted in the sky above the continent, the planets above are generally uninhabited. The rapid development of Asura and others eventually attracted the attention of other forces. Some forces wanted to recruit them for their own use, while others wanted to eliminate hidden dangers. After all, it was too terrifying for someone like them to cultivate from a rookie to an emperor in just 3 years. So Asura and his companions had to start a 10-year-long war journey in order to survive. During the 10 years of fighting, many demons who ascended from the original Earth's demon realm died, but those who are left are real masters. In 10 years, Asura has had a general understanding of the real demon realm and already knows what the space he is in is like. After 13 years of struggle, Asura has already reached the limit of destruction. Even Gola and Mira have the peak of destruction. Although they are still far behind Asura, think about this time, it only took 13 years to complete many realms that the demons in the real demon realm would find difficult to reach in their lifetime. Just 2 years ago, Asura finally succeeded in comprehending the Asura law and was successfully deified, becoming the existence who was deified in the shortest time in the true demon realm in hundreds of millions of years. Asura, who is at the level of a true god, can go to the lower world at any time, but the real demon world is not peaceful either, so he has been delayed. Originally, there were 39 true god-level strongmen in the true demon realm. Now that Asura has been deified, there are 40 true gods in the open. In the true demon realm, every true god has his own kingdom. Asura is naturally no exception, but after becoming a true god, he also has the restrictions of a true god. In the true demon realm, a true god-level powerhouse cannot easily take action. Even if there is a conflict between two true god-level powerhouses, they generally use subordinates to fight to resolve it. After all, after the ancient war, although the true demon realm was not shattered like the samsara realm because of a wisp of incarnation of the ancient demon god, a wisp of incarnation of the ancient demon god was also destroyed by the king of angels. Therefore, every true god-level powerhouse is a treasure to the true demon realm, and they will not fight easily. The true demon realm is too big, so there is no such thing as not being able to carve out territory for Asura to establish his kingdom of God. Moreover, Asura follows the path of killing. For the past 10 years, he has basically been either fighting or on the way to fight. Now that he has become a god, although he is only in the early stage of true god, even a strong man in the middle stage of true god dare not say that he can definitely defeat him. Since Babidi was discovered in the Magic Empire and was unable to move, he returned to the demon realm, preparing to find new and stronger subordinates. Although Depura is very strong, he is only in the middle stage of destruction. With a combat power of 12 billion, he can't even make a wave in the Magic Empire. Magicians are very noble beings even in the true demon world. Therefore, although Babidi's own strength is not that good, he still has a certain status in the true demon world. In the Asura kingdom, Asura was practicing, when suddenly someone came to report that a magician who claimed to be Babidi came to discuss something. Soon in Asura's reception room, Asura and Gora met Babidi. Although he had only been in the true demon realm for more than 10 years, Asura had heard of this dark magician. It was not because he was very strong, but because he learned from some ancient myths that Babidi's father once led a demon to kill several kings in the 7th universe. There has always been hatred between the true demon god and the true god realm, and Asura later learned that the former Earth demon realm was located in the Milky Way star field of the 7th universe. Although Babidi possessed terrifying dark magic, He did not dare to be arrogant in front of a true god-level strongman. Feeling the murderous aura and the faint divine power inadvertently emanating from Ashura, Babidi hurriedly stepped forward to salute. Great Lord Ashura, I didn't expect you to come out in person. I am so terrified. As for this new god, many people in the true demon realm do not know Ashura's origin. They only know that this god is definitely a ruthless killer. Therefore, even though Babidi is a noble magician, he does not dare to put on airs in front of Ashura. Ashura sat on the top of the hall, looking at the short and ugly magician, and replied indifferently, Tell me, what do you want to see me this time? Babidi didn't want to hide anything from Ashura, so he slowly told him about what happened to Reimagined tens of millions of years ago and what happened recently on the Demon Emperor star. After Ashura finished listening, he said, From what you said, it seems that this Reimagined is only at the peak of destruction. But what about this demonic empire? Can't Depura's mid-stage destruction force deal with it? Babidi was also overwhelmed. He thought that with Depura's fighting power, he would be able to sweep the lower world. It was fine in other star regions in the 7th universe, but when he arrived in the Milky Way star region, especially at the Magic Saint star where Majin Buu's sealed egg was located, Babidi's understanding of the lower world was completely overturned. If it weren't for his outstanding magical talent, they would probably have been buried on the Magic Saint star. But even so, among his subordinates, only Depura survived. Who could have thought that a 5 or 6-year-old kid could easily kill his subordinates with just one move? Even Depura could only barely fight against him, but defeat was a matter of time. This was also the reason why others were too disdainful to take action. Moreover, that kid was simply using Depura for training. If they really wanted to fight, I'm afraid even Depura wouldn't last more than 10 rounds. Seeing that the situation was not right, Babidi quickly used his specialty, the magic of space transfer, to teleport himself and Depura away directly, thus avoiding being killed. Babidi felt extremely humiliated, so after returning to the true demon realm, he approached Ashura, the newly promoted demon god, hoping to get his help. Yes, Lord Ashura. If I'm not mistaken, that brat was just having fun with Depura. Ashura fell into deep thought. When did the lower world have such a strong force? Do you have images of those people at that time? The magician possesses many magical powers, and with Babidi's ability, it is very easy to restore the images at that time. Babidi muttered something, and then a three-dimensional picture of the battle at that time appeared in the air. Babidi's spaceship landed on the Magic Saint star, and then 4 or 5 people suddenly appeared. Then the smallest imp began to transform. His originally black hair turned grass green in an instant, and a golden light emanated from his body. Then the massacre began. You should know that the subordinates that Babidi favored were actually not weak. Even the weakest one had a combat power of nearly 1 million, and Warcraft Yago even had a combat power of nearly 1 billion. However, under the attack of this little devil, they had no power to fight back and were all killed easily. Finally, Depota came on the field, saying something arrogantly, but he was completely fooled after the fight. Seeing that the situation was not right, Babidi quickly launched space magic and took Depota away. At this time, Gola stepped forward and said something to Ashura, and then Ashura asked Babidi to go out and stay first. Lord Ashura, have you noticed that the little brat and the young man next to him are somewhat similar to Sun Tian back then? Especially the little brat, he is a carbon copy of Sun Tian. You know, back then in the demon world on Earth, Sun Tian helped them a lot. Although it has been nearly 30 years, these people still remember Sun Tian's charm back then. Indeed, I don't know how brother Sun Tian is doing now. I really miss the days when we fought side by side in the demon realm together. Gola replied, yes, although we have become many times stronger over the years, if it weren't for brother Sun Tian, we would have all been sucked into that hell by that guy Kalik. Ashura was also reminiscing, I feel that this demon martial saint star is very likely the Earth back then, but I don't know why the Earth became the demon martial saint star today. And have you noticed that there is a guy who looks too similar to the demons in the demon palace back then? Gola actually discovered it. Oh, right, among the demons who came to the true demon realm with us, there were also people from the demon palace. If I remember correctly, they are now considered a very powerful group among our subordinates. Their leader is called Alba, how about asking him to come and take a look? Ashura said, okay, go get Alba over here. Soon, Alba arrived at the Ashura palace. I greet Lord Ashura. No need to be so polite, General Alba. There's no need to be so polite in the future. After all, we all come from the same place. Alba was the strongest person in the demon palace besides the 4 great demon generals. Later, the 4 great demon generals left the demon realm to look for the Father God, and never returned. The main reason was that Azura and others closed the passage between the two worlds at that time. 16 years ago, when the demon moon was in the sky on Earth, she came to the real demon realm with Azura and others, and broke the racial restrictions. Her strength improved by leaps and bounds, and now she is also a super strong man with a combat power of up to 10 billion. You should know that the demons of the former Lord Piccolo were all created by him using his magic power. Although they were powerful from birth, their combat power was fixed and they had no possibility of growth. But Alba and the others later arrived in the real demon realm and actually broke this fate. Although many of them died in battle over the years, there are still nearly 1,000 demons alive in their tribe, and all of them have a combat power of over 100 million. Although they were not as good as Azura and the others, they also greatly increased Azura's strength. Master Ashura, may I ask what you want me to do? Ever since Azura was deified, they have completely established themselves in the real demon world, and wars rarely occur nowadays. Show you someone? After saying that, Ashura used his magic power to project the great devil Piccolo in Babbidi's image. As soon as he saw the great devil Piccolo, Alba's dusty memories emerged. Father God, there is absolutely no mistake. I didn't expect that they really rescued Father God. General Alba, could this be the creator of your clan? Perhaps she felt that she had lost her composure, so Alba quickly calmed down and said, yes, it was the Father God who gave us life. I just didn't expect that the four elders actually rescued the Father God. From then on, Azura can basically be sure that the demonic martial saint star of the 7th universe is the former Earth. Although he does not know what caused the disappearance of the Earth and the creation of the current demonic martial saint star, all signs indicate that the previous speculation was correct. General Alba, have you ever thought about returning to Earth? Return to Earth? This is their wish, but they don't know how the Father God will view them if they return to Earth with their current strength. In Alba's opinion, although the Father God was once very powerful, he is definitely not their opponent now. Will it embarrass the Father God if they meet? As for rebellion, this group of people had never even thought about it, which shows that the great devil Piccolo still had a very high status in their hearts. Master Ashura, can we still return to Earth? Azura was thinking whether he should go to the 7th universe, but thinking of the relationship between the true demon realm and the true god realm, he gave up the idea. If he really went down, he would definitely be hunted down by the angels of the true god realm. But it's not a big problem to just send some people below the level of true god. Brother, what do you think Sun Tian would do if he knew our current strength? You will definitely be surprised. Haha. I really want to know what Brother Sun Tian will think when he knows our current strength. Lord Ashura, how about letting Babidi and I go this time? Ashura thought for a moment and said, okay, I'll trouble you then. Remember to say hello to Brother Sun Tian on my behalf. On the second day, Babidi brought Gora, Alba and more than 10 others through a special transmission channel and came to the 7th universe again. Are you Dapra, the king of the demon world? Gora looked at the man following Babidi, who looked very scary, with a pair of pointed ears and an M pattern on his forehead. You are joking, my lord. I am only making this claim to the outside world. I dare not call myself king in front of you, my lord. Dapura is still quite strong, but it depends on who he is facing. Among Gora's group this time, not to mention Gora, a master at the peak of destruction, even the other dozen or so people are not much weaker than him. Moreover, the violent aura of these people makes even he a little afraid. Even Babidi has to be careful in front of Gora, because Gora is not like Dapura and cannot be controlled by his black magic at all. Not long after Gora and others entered the 7th universe, Whis in the realm of the god of destruction discovered their existence. Whis then turned his attention to Gora and others, but soon withdrew his gaze. Their highest combat power was only at the peak of destruction, so they did not attract Whis's attention. It has been more than a year since Sun Tian left the Holy Star of Demon and Martial Arts. During this year, the high-level officials of the Demon and Martial Arts Empire have continued to grow stronger. Thinking about what Sun Tian said when he left, there will be strong enemies. But except for the Demon clan half a year ago, the Demon and Martial Arts Empire does not seem to have any decent enemies. At that time, Babidi's space magic seemed somewhat novel to them, and even Chi Tian didn't have time to stop him. In the holy world of demon and martial arts, Chi Tian, as usual, started training with Goten early on. After more than a year, although Chi Tian has not yet broken through to the true god realm, he is not far away. And since Goten learned some legendary skills from Broly, his combat power has been improving day by day. Now he has a combat power of 45 billion, the peak of the middle stage of destruction. With Chi Tian suppressing his combat power, the two brothers can barely fight each other. Suddenly, Chi Tian looked up at the sky. Just now, Chi Tian felt a strong force approaching the demon martial Saint Star rapidly, and one of the auras among them was exactly the tens of billions of demons half a year ago. However, Vegeta and the others are not on the magic martial Saint Star at the moment. Piccolo and the others are also traveling in the Milky Way. On the magic martial Saint Star, there are only Chi Tian and Goten guarding it. Although there are some powerful people with combat power of hundreds of millions on the magic martial Saint Star, they are basically useless in the face of this force. Chi Tian and Wu Tian tore through space and came to an uninhabited area of the magic martial Holy Star. This place was still undeveloped, or it could be said that it was a large battlefield deliberately reserved by the magic martial empire to deal with possible crises. Brother, are there really interesting enemies like you said that will appear? It's fun. Chi Tian really has some feelings for this younger brother. Yes, don't worry, they should be here soon. In order to facilitate the journey, Gora directly led everyone to travel through the subspace. Although Babiti's space magic was powerful, he almost used up half a life's space magic in order to escape half a year ago, and it would be difficult to use it for at least 10 years. Master Gola, the huge planet ahead is the Magic Saint planet. When Babidi thought of that devilish planet, he felt so angry that his teeth itched. He had worked so hard to gather all the wealth, but in the end only one Depura survived. Just as Babidi was thinking about how to take revenge, suddenly the subspace they were in shook, and then a huge energy hand appeared and pulled them out of the subspace. When they appeared again, they were already in a desolate place, and opposite them, two people, one big and one small, were looking at them teasingly. Chi Tian looked at the confused Babidi, but his attention was on Gola. Why, the lesson from last time wasn't enough, and you invited help again? The last time Babidi and Depura escaped by luck, it was because Chi Tian was not prepared and did not expect their strange magic, but this time it was different. Gola had never imagined that there would be such a terrifying existence on this planet. Although it could not be compared with Azura, it was much stronger than them. Only then did Babidi realize how lucky he was to have escaped last time. This aura was definitely stronger than that of the great devil Gora. Brother, look, they look like Danton and Bart. Danton and Bart were the first batch of demons created by Piccolo. Later, with the rapid development of the magic and martial arts empire, they gradually faded out of sight. However, in the early days, they made a lot of efforts for the development of the empire. Later, after Piccolo received the relevant inheritance from the great elder of Namek, he deliberately changed the life forms of the two so that they could now practice normally. It was also because they had enough experience that their combat power increased very rapidly. In less than 3 years, they now have a combat power of nearly 100 million. Although it is nothing in the demonic empire, they are also considered to be strong men in the universe. The people Goten was talking about were Alba and the others. Alba heard what little Goten said and hurried forward. Excuse me, are the Danton and Bart you mentioned appearing on Earth more than 20 years ago? Chi Tian was shocked. He didn't expect these people to know about Earth. You have to know that the current Milky Way only knows about the magic martial Saint Star, but has no idea about the past of the magic martial Saint Star. Who are you? You actually know about Earth? If Babidi hadn't known that the two men in front of him were not easy to deal with, he would have started to lose his temper long ago. But after experiencing the shock of being pulled out of the subspace just now, didn't he see that Gora hasn't dared to say anything harsh until now? Through Chi Tian's words, Alba knew that this might be the former Earth. Although she didn't know why it had changed so much after hundreds of years, it was not surprising when she thought about her own experiences. But Wu Tian didn't care about that. That guy with pointy ears, you didn't have enough fun last time. Come over here and let's continue. Depura has not moved until now and has been very low-key. After all, the last time he came here, he was beaten up by the little devil in front of him, but he did not expect that he would still be discovered by the little devil. As for Babidi, up to now, Chi Tian and the others didn't know his name, and all they remembered was Babidi's powerful space magic. However, Chi Tian, who was on guard, believed that even if Babidi used that space magic again this time, he would not be able to escape from his grasp. Gola has not spoken since he was forced out of the subspace by Chi Tian. He has been silently observing the two people in front of him. The aura of Chi Tian is somewhat similar to that of Sun Tian back then, and Wu Tian is almost a replica of Sun Tian and looks almost exactly the same. Although Gola couldn't believe that the young man was much stronger than him, he was a man who had experienced ups and downs after all, so he stepped forward and said, "Okay, we are not here to cause trouble this time. If I'm not mistaken, you two should be the sons of brother Sun Tian, right?" When Chi Tian heard this, he realized that this man who was close to the limit of destruction actually knew his father, and he had never felt any hostility from him. "Yes, Sun Tian is my father, who are you?" Although the identities of these two people had already been confirmed, it was still hard to believe the answers they got. You know, the young man in front of him was only about 18 or 19 years old, but he was so powerful. And the other child looked only 6 or 7 years old at most. With the hidden power in his body, except for him, the others in their group might not be his match. Gola slowed down. I am Gola, a former demon from Earth. I wonder if your father has told you about this. Gola, the Earth Demon Realm. Suddenly Chi Tian thought of something. You said you were the strongman Gola from the Earth Demon Realm. Indeed, I heard my father mention you when I was a child, but wasn't the Earth Demon Realm sealed by you later? However, Chi Tian did not expect that the former Gola from the Earth's demon world is now so powerful. Of course, Chi Tian did not believe Gola because of this. How do you prove it? If you were Gora, you wouldn't be this strong. Gola also knew that this was difficult to explain. Where is your father Sun Tian? If he were here, he would definitely recognize me. Chi Tian replied, you didn't come here just to talk about this, did you? And why are you with those two people who sneaked into our empire last time? Gola suddenly hated Babidi, but he still explained, I apologize to you for Babidi's behavior last time, but please believe us, we really didn't come here with bad intentions. It's just that Babidi returned to the true demon realm after the last time and found Lord Ashura. After seeing the video they gave us, we realized that brother Sun Tian now lives here. We haven't seen him for a long time, so we came down to see him. When Chi Tian heard the word real demon realm, he heard about it from his father. Real demon realm? Are you saying that you are in the real demon realm now? Gola was surprised that Yu Qitian actually knew about the true demon realm. You know, the true demon realm is a higher level space than the god realm of the 12th universe, and it is almost the top dimension of this world. Well, you know about the true demon realm? Chi Tian was speechless. Why was he so shocked? What's the big deal? We also know about the true god realm and the samsara realm. You are talking about Ashura, but is he the Ashura king of the demon realm on earth? Babidi and Depura on the side seemed to know something they shouldn't know. When Ashura and his group rose to power, it was not that no one had investigated their background, but this group of people seemed to have suddenly appeared in the real demon world. No one expected that they were actually from the planetary demon world in the universe of the lower world. But Gola thought differently. It seemed that they were not the only ones who had adventures in recent years. Brother Sun Tian might have had some great adventures as well. There was also the reincarnation world, which even he had never heard of. Gola suddenly thought of something, turned around and said to Babidi, don't spread what you heard today, otherwise you know the consequences. As for Majin Bu, we will help you release him when the time comes. Then he said to Chi Tian, I haven't asked what your name is yet. Where is your father? Chi Tian is now basically certain that the Gola in front of him is the Gola his father met in the demon world of Earth. Even if he is not, with his ability, these people can't make any waves in front of him. My name is Chi Tian, this is my younger brother Wu Tian. As for my father, he left this universe more than a year ago and traveled with mother. Leaving this universe? Gola knew that even he couldn't leave the universe, and this time he had to use the transmission channel of the true demon realm. By this calculation, I'm afraid that brother Sun Tian's cultivation is not worse than Lord Ashura. Could it be that your father has already broken through to the true god realm? Chi Tian didn't expect that this brother in front of him actually knew about the true god, but when he thought about it, it made sense. After all, he came from the true demon realm. Yes, my father had already made a breakthrough a few years ago. I'm afraid he is almost in the middle stage of the true god now. Babidi and Dabura took a deep breath. What kind of being had they provoked before? Gora was also shocked by Chi Tian's words. Although he had some doubts after seeing Chi Tian's strength, he still felt it was unbelievable that his doubts were proven to be true. You have to know that although Sun Tian was strong back then, he was only slightly stronger than King Ashura when they parted. They have been practicing in the true demon realm all these years, while Sun Tian has been in the 7th universe, and he still managed to catch up with them. Brother La had to express his admiration for Sun Tian at this moment. I wonder what kind of expression Lord Ashura would have when he knew brother Sun Tian's current strength. Oh, and Miss Mira, no, she should be called Mrs. Ashura now. Oh, Uncle Gola. Is this the reason you came to the lower world this time? Or is there something else? So Gora called Babidi out and asked Babidi to explain himself. After Babidi's explanation, Chi Tian roughly understood what was going on, but he didn't expect Babidi to be so unlucky. The last time he came to the demon martial Saint Star, he was acting suspiciously and was discovered by Chi Tian and the others. The amused Goten directly killed all of Babidi's useless subordinates, leaving only Dabura who still had a little strength. After that, he returned to the true demon realm, but unfortunately found Ashura who was also from the earth demon realm. Chi Tian asked, is Majin Buu really on the demon warrior star? And is he really that strong? Babidi didn't know what to say. After all, it was all recorded in his father's notes. After seeing the real gods in Sai Ten and the others, he really didn't dare to say that Majin Buu was the strongest. After thinking for a while, he said, according to my father's notes, Majin Buu is very strong. In the original Kaishin realm of Universe 7, there were 5 Kais in total, and 4 of them were killed by Buu. If there hadn't been some accidents, I'm afraid there wouldn't be any Kais in the Kaishin realm now. Kaishin. It seems that such a person came here more than a year ago. At that time, he said that his father asked him to come. However, after seeing the power of the demonic empire, he went back to the god realm. Chi Tian didn't know that after witnessing the powerful strength of the demon empire at that time, King Kai was already feeling sad for Babidi. Although Majin Buu had left him with a shadow at that time, the top masters of the demon empire gave him a feeling that they were far more terrifying than Majin Buu. Chi Tian thought for a moment and said, okay, if that's the case, go and take out the sealed egg, and we won't stop you then. After getting Chi Tian's assurance, Babidi was almost in tears. If he had known, he should have asked Azura for help the last time he came. After all, he had helped Azura before. Otherwise, how could a magician like him easily get in touch with a god like Azura? Although such a god is rare in the real demon world, it does exist. Azura himself knows a lot of magical powers, but he just prefers to fight with his body. Babidi got Chi Tian's assurance and happily took Dabura to the place where Majin Buu was sealed, while Chi Tian took Gora and others directly back to the holy world of demon and martial arts. Goten, go to the academy and ask Danton and Bart to come over. Although Danton and his men have become stronger over the years, they have been helping to train warriors for the Magic and Martial Empire at the Magic and Martial Royal Academy most of the time, and rarely leave the Magic and Martial Holy Star. Not long after, Danton and the other arrived. When Jane saw Alba, she couldn't believe it. Alba, is it really you? Alba saw Danton and said, hello, Lord Danton, Lord Bart. I didn't expect to see you again after so many decades. Danton sensed it and said, you are so strong. I couldn't believe what Goten said just now. It must be fate. How is Father God? When seeing Danton, Alba also knew that these two adults seemed to have had considerable fortune, otherwise how could they have a combat force of nearly 100 million? Although they were not as strong as the one in their real demon realm, they were also very strong. Father God and the others are very good. If the gods and demons merge into one, they will be much more powerful than before. Lord Piccolo is indeed much more powerful than before. Even though Alba and others in the true demon realm have reached a combat power of over 10 billion, they are still not enough compared to Lord Piccolo. Danton, Alba and others talked about their experiences over the years and sighed. On the other side, Babidi brought Dabura to the place where Majin Buu's sealed egg was stored. Master Babidi, do you really believe what that brat said? Although Babidi could not feel Chi Tian's strength, he knew that even Gora was far inferior to him. Didn't he see that others easily pulled them out of the subspace? No Buu, that brat is ridiculously strong. To be honest, I don't think Majin Buu can be his opponent. Although my father has always said that Majin Buu is the strongest in the universe, I'm afraid he was only talking about their era. Babidi thought about the powerful people he met when he first arrived at the Magic Martial Holy Star. He felt scared when he thought about it now. He never thought that there were so many powerful people in a lower universe. The seal of Majin Buu is placed on a large magic circle, an egg that is nearly 5 meters long and has many mysterious runes on it. Babidi first chanted a long spell, slowly activating the magic circle, and then the entire sealed egg emitted light. After a long time, even Buu consumed a lot of energy due to the seal. When Babidi was ready to wake Buu up, he found that he could not wake him up at all because of insufficient energy. Depura, inject your energy into the magic circle. The current energy cannot be awakened. Although Depura has his own wisdom, he is controlled by Babidi's dark magic and has to listen to Babidi. As Daper's energy was poured in, the energy indicator needle continued to rise, but even if Daper poured in almost all of his energy, he could only barely raise the energy indicator to 1 bar, which was still far from full. Unfortunately, this is the territory of Chi Tian and his friends, and Babidi doesn't dare to act rashly. Moreover, in order to ensure that Buu is released in his strongest state, Babidi doesn't dare to move the sealing circle, for fear that the impact will cause Buu to wake up prematurely. Babidi had never expected that the energy was insufficient. Although Depura, the king of the demon world, was somewhat unworthy of his title, he was still a super strong man in the middle stage of destruction. If he was in the real demon world, he would still be a powerful lord. However, the full energy of Depura only increased the energy of Majin Buu's sealing circle by 1 level. There were still 9 levels to fill up. How terrifying would that energy be? There was no other way. Babidi asked Depura to recover quickly and guard the sealed egg, while he shamelessly went to find Gora and the others for help. As for why, it was naturally because Babidi reached an agreement with Ashura. Ashura sent people to assist him in unsealing Majin Buu, and he would lead Majin Buu to serve Ashura for 10 million years. Before Chi Tian and the others left, they told Babidi where to find them. Soon Babidi came to the magic and martial saint realm and told Gora the whole story. You mean to say that Majin Buu doesn't have enough energy, so the seal cannot be lifted for the time being? Ashura naturally gave instructions before Gora came, on the one hand to come and visit Sun Tian, and on the other hand to assist Babidi in lifting the seal on Majin Buu. However, Sun Tian did not succeed in seeing it, and was instead tricked by Sun Tian's son. If the incident with Majin Buu were to blow up again, he would probably be too embarrassed to go back to see Ashura. Let's go, I'll go with you. Chi Tian, are you interested in going with us? Chi Tian's personality is similar to Sun Tian's. He gets along well with a generous person like Gola. After thinking about it and thinking there was nothing wrong, he agreed. The two of them followed Babidi back to the place where Buu was sealed. When Dapper saw the 3 of them coming, he quickly got up. After a period of recovery, Dapper was unable to recover. Let me see, Dapper's energy can only fill up 1 bar. Gora looked at the giant egg in front of him and didn't feel anything unusual. He then frantically poured his energy into the magic circle. Gora's energy was so terrifying that it was much higher than Dapper's. With the injection of Gora's energy, the pointer of the magic needle turned rapidly, and soon it lengthened by 3 squares. Depura's eyes were full of stars. This was a real strong man. Compared with Gora, he was nothing. From the aura emanating from Gora, Depura knew that even if 10 of himself came together, they would not be his match. This lasted for about half an hour before the pointer of the magic circle finally stopped. At this time, Gora was almost at his limit. Fortunately, the energy needed by Majin Buu was finally filled. Uncle Gola, are you okay? After all, he was his father's former friend, so Chi Tian went up to him and asked a few questions. Fortunately, I hope this Majin Buu won't let me down. I never thought that even someone like me with a strength close to the limit of destruction would be almost crushed by him. Gola looked a little weak, but fortunately he held on. You have to know that he is a peak destroyer with a combat power of nearly 200 billion. It's terrifying to think about it. He turned around and said to Babidi, Master Babidi, it should be okay now, please unblock it quickly. Babidi was stunned. Although he knew that Gora was very strong, he didn't expect that the energy he just released was so strong. He was worthy of being the #1 warrior under Ashura of the true demon realm. Don't you need to rest and recover, Lord Gora? If Majin Buu gets out of control, you may be needed to stop him. Gora glanced at Babidi. He didn't expect that a dark magician would actually care about him. In fact, he didn't even think about who his backer was. That was the most popular Ashura god in the real demon world in the past 20 years. No need, with Chi Tian here, even if Majin Buu has great abilities, he can't make a single wave. Gola was familiar with Chi Tian's strength. He knew that Chi Tian was only half a step away from entering the realm of true God, so he was very relieved. Babidi saw this and put his worries aside. If Gola fell because of him, then Ashura would probably come after him. Turning around, Babidi chanted a complicated spell towards the sealed egg. A series of runes were continuously cast into the giant egg, and the giant egg continued to emit a halo. After about an hour, as the last rune penetrated, the giant egg was seen spinning on the magic circle, faster and faster, and a suffocating demonic energy continued to emerge from the giant egg. Gora was fine, but Depura was directly crushed to the ground by the evil energy, and even Babidi was the same. Maybe Chi Tian was the only one who didn't take it seriously. Gola exclaimed, so strong. This force is at least at the level of destruction limit, and it is considered to be a relatively strong existence among the destruction limits. Chi Tian was also a little surprised. He didn't expect that the demonic energy was so strong. Although it was okay for him, if he was not there, no one in the demonic martial empire would be able to resist it. At the same time, all the strong men living on the demonic martial Saint Star sensed this breath, and a message was quickly passed on. Not long after, Lord Piccolo, Slug, Sil, Caesar, Vegeta and others returned directly to the Holy Magic Star and soon appeared at the place where the evil energy was. Chitian, what's going on, this evil energy? Piccolo saw Chitian below, and the others also looked at Chitian. In more than a year, although Piccolo and his team have made a lot of progress, none of them has reached the limit of destruction. Even the strongest Caesar is only at the peak of destruction, with a combat power of about 150 billion. The others are in the late stage of destruction, and the vast majority are still only in the middle stage of destruction. Uncle Piccolo, don't be anxious. Do you remember my father's prophecy more than a year ago? When Piccolo heard this, he thought of the prophecy that Sun Tian made when he left more than a year ago. In fact, more than a year had passed and no one had taken it seriously. Moreover, their current strength was improving every day, so he felt that it was not impossible to face it. But now they realized that if Chi Tian was not here, they might not be a match for the owner of this evil energy. As they were talking, the evil energy gathered rapidly, and soon a figure slowly appeared. A pair of eyes as black as ink, but the pupils are golden, 2 pointed ears on the head, a nearly 40-centimeter long tentacle hanging upside down behind the body, naked upper body, with many small round holes on the arms, head, and back, a black belt around the waist with a big M symbol in the middle, and a long tail swinging behind the body. If Sun Tian were here, he would know that this is completely different from the Bu in his memory, but much stronger than the Bu in his memory. Babidi looked at the figure that appeared in the sky. Bu. Is this Majin Bu? Babidi chanted a spell, trying to control the figure in the air, but the next moment, the figure in the air just glared at Babidi, and Babidi was like being struck by lightning, frozen there. A fear arose in Babidi's heart, as if he would die immediately if he dared to move again. Babidi's face turned pale, and drops of sweat dripped from his forehead. Lord Babidi, what's wrong with you? As Dabura was controlled by Babidi, he naturally noticed Babidi's abnormality. He quickly got up from the ground and walked forward to ask. It's okay. I'm afraid we were really wrong. We shouldn't have let him out. At least we shouldn't have let him out when he was at his peak. Babidi was a little scared. He was walking on a tightrope just now. If he wasn't careful, he would fall into the abyss. At this time, a figure in the air slowly descended and landed on the ground. I didn't expect that I would meet so many strong people just after waking up. Not bad, very good. Talking. This is different from what was written in Babidi's father's notebook. Although he didn't know what was going on, he still stepped forward and asked, Bu, are you really Bu? Then the figure turned to Babidi, don't try to control me with your magic. You and your father learned magic from me. You are useless. It took me so many years to fully awaken me. Bu yelled at Babidi. It seemed like there was some story between them. What? How is that possible? It's written in your father's notes that you were created by him. Babidi seemed to want to continue, but Bu didn't give him the chance to continue. Create? How ignorant. But since you woke me up this time, I won't bother with you. Afterwards, Bu stopped caring about Babidi and looked at Chi Tian and his group. How about a game? If you can beat me, I'll let you go. But if you lose, you'll have to become my subordinates and conquer the world for me in the future. Arrogant. Arrogant. Do you really think you can defeat us? Chi Tian didn't say anything. He had just sensed Bu's ability and it was indeed very strong. Among the people present, except him, no one could be a match for the monster in front of him. Vegeta was the first to be dissatisfied. Let me meet you and see why you are so arrogant. After more than a year of hard training, Vegeta has now completely normalized the Super Saiyan 2 realm, becoming a true mid-stage destruction powerhouse, and has developed a transformation that is even stronger than Super Saiyan 2. Vegeta's current normal state has a combat power of nearly 30 billion. Although his transformation cannot break through the ceiling of 100 billion, he can use 100 billion energy to fight for a longer period of time. Vegeta knew that the monster in front of him was extraordinary, so he directly launched the Super Saiyan transformation. After the transformation, Vegeta's eyebrows disappeared directly, and the hair that had originally soared into the sky grew rapidly and finally hung behind him. Bu saw Vegeta's form, the descendant of the ancient golden giant ape. I think it's called something, a Saiyan, yes, a Saiyan. Your current form should be the third stage of Super Saiyan, and your normal state is already so strong, you can barely fight me now. How about this, I will fight you with 30% of my strength. Although Vegeta was proud, he knew that what Bu said might be true, which meant that Bu's combat power had at least reached the limit of destruction. Okay, are you ready? Bu just stood there naturally, you can attack at any time. As soon as Buu finished speaking, Vegeta flashed in front of Buu and hit Buu's heart with a heavy punch. Buu was knocked several hundred meters away by the sudden attack before he slowly stopped. Not bad, you can actually fully master the power after transformation. You better be careful next time. As soon as he finished speaking, Buu's figure disappeared from the spot, and then appeared directly in front of Vegeta. So fast. Vegeta crossed his arms to block Buu's punch, but he was knocked dozens of meters away, and his arms were numb with pain. What a strong force, come again. The two of them kept flashing in the air and attacking each other. They were in the sky one moment and on the surface the next. Deep pits appeared from time to time on the surrounding ground. Fortunately, they were fighting on the magic martial Saint Star. If it had happened on the Earth in the past, it would have been destroyed by the aftermath. After thousands of rounds, Vegeta's momentum gradually declined. He breathed heavily and fought with Buu, using all his strength all the time. Even though Vegeta was already very strong, he was still gradually losing the upper hand. Gora watched the fight between Vegeta and Buu, so strong. Vegeta is also very strong, but Buu is obviously stronger. It's such an intense fight, and he hasn't even taken a breath so far. Is this the Buu that Babidi mentioned who has difficulty even defeating King God? Piccolo watched the two men fighting, so strong, I didn't expect to be surpassed by Vegeta without realizing it. But that Buu is really a pervert. I'm afraid that except for Saiten, no one here can suppress him. Slug also watched, yeah, I never expected that we have worked hard enough, but the gap between us and Vegeta is still widening. Kaisar looked at the two of them silently, you two are just a little too power hungry. If you can put that aside and practice hard, even if you can't compare to Vegeta, you won't be left behind by such a big gap. As for Piccolo and Slug, I'm afraid only the great Elder Caesar dares to preach to them. Even Vegeta can't do it to others. In fact, they are not weak now. Piccolo now has a combat power of nearly 60 billion, and has entered the late stage of destruction, and Slug also has a combat power of more than 38 billion, but it is slightly worse than Vegeta's 100 billion combat power after his transformation. Meanwhile, the battle between Vegeta and Buu had already begun to fail. After Vegeta used the ultimate flash, he could no longer maintain the Super Saiyan 3 state and was defeated. Buu seemed to have not fought enough, who will go up next? I can sense that there is someone among you who is stronger than the Saiyan just now. Since Shilu became Sun Tian's apprentice, he has been very low-key and practiced silently, but this does not mean that Shilu is weak. Now Shilu has already found his own way to become a strong man. By integrating and refining the excellent genes of a martial artist, Shilu formed his own unique bloodline. He not only possesses the Saiyan's characteristic of becoming stronger with battle, but also has the super recovery ability of the Namekians. Seeing Buu challenging everyone, Shilu naturally stood up. More than a year ago, Shilu's combat power had reached the late stage of destruction, and this year it has made great progress. Abandoning those boring transformations, Shilu only practiced the human form. Now he has reached a terrifying combat power of 120 billion, becoming the fifth strongest person at the peak of destruction in the magic and martial empire after Sun Tian, Chi Tian, the big tall Kaisar and the mechanical life Bigo. Even though Vegeta has acquired the peak destructive power after transforming into Super Saiyan 3, he is still far inferior to them in normal state. Even though he doesn't want to admit it, he is indeed no match for Cell and the others. Although Buu's body had just been blasted through by Vegeta's ultimate flash, he pointed at Cell and his group as if nothing had happened. Under the gaze of everyone, Buu's body squirmed quickly and returned to its original state after a while. However, Vegeta could no longer maintain the Super Saiyan 3 state due to excessive energy consumption, so he naturally could not fight anymore. However, Buu did not kill Vegeta. It seemed that he just wanted to compete with everyone and looked at everyone provocatively. The great Elder Kaisar wanted to go into battle, but Shilu got there first and flew into the battlefield, saying to Buu, "You are very strong. Even in our demonic empire, there are not many who can defeat you." Buu looked at Cell flying into the field. Although Cell was the strongest among the group, Buu wanted to fight another person more. Buu was a creature from the ancient times. Although he was not in the first echelon like the ancient demon god, he was also very powerful. In his prime, Buu was also a true god-level powerhouse, but he was also affected by the War of the Gods in ancient times. If his life form was not too special and difficult to kill, he would probably have perished in the War of the Gods in ancient times. Even so, Buu fell into a deep sleep from ancient times to modern times, and was awakened from his sleep by Babidi tens of millions of years ago. However, at that time, he had not fully awakened because of billions of years of sleep, and he only destroyed and devoured everything in the world based on his instinct. However, as his awakener, Bibidi did have a certain degree of control over him at that time, but as he continued to grow stronger and evolve, and only later devoured several Kaioshin from the 7th universe, did he slowly regain some of his sanity. Bibidi seemed to have sensed this, and sealed him back into a giant egg. If he hadn't used Gora's pure magic energy to completely refine the power he had swallowed, he would probably still be just a monster without much rationality, destroying things entirely out of instinct. This is why Bu warned him directly after sensing Bibidi's thoughts. No matter how you look at it, it was because of Babidi that he truly awakened this time. His power now is only at the limit of destruction. Even so, he does not think that anyone present can defeat him. If Bu had not discovered the descendants of the ancient golden giant ape and the ancient Namekian among this group of people, he might not even look at these people and would have gone straight back to the true demon realm. Hearing what Shilu said, Bu smiled evilly and said, "Oh, your demonic empire. Do you think someone in your demonic empire can defeat me now?" Although Shilu was also very evil, he was still a little nervous when he was looked at by Bu. However, he was a strong man at the peak of destruction after all, so he quickly calmed down. "Not bad, but before that, please give me your guidance." Bu chuckled. "Do you mean that Namekian? Or that demon over there?" What Bu was referring to was the great elder Caesar and the demon Gora, who were the strongest people besides Saiten. Shilu shook his head. It was obvious that Shilu knew that even the great elder and Gora, whom he had never met, were no match for Bu. Bu is not stupid either. Seeing the attitude of the crowd, it seems that even though he had shown his extremely strong fighting power before, he has not been able to intimidate the group of people in front of him. Then Bu noticed Saito. Even though the others already knew that Bu would not kill them, they still couldn't help feeling uncomfortable under Bu's oppression. Only Saito seemed to have never taken him seriously from beginning to end. Bu pointed at Chi Tian and asked affirmatively, "Haha, I didn't expect it. It seems that I have been sleeping for too long." "Boy, they rely on you, right?" Chi Tian looked at Bu calmly. "You are not my opponent right now. If I am not mistaken, you have not yet recovered to your strongest state, right?" "What? Impossible. Isn't this the strongest state even though you're this strong?" Piccolo and the others were shocked. You know, from the battle with Vegeta just now, it can be seen that Bu is definitely a super strong man who can destroy the limit, but Chi Tian actually said that this is not Bu's strongest state. Bu was also shocked. He didn't expect that someone in this group could see his condition. "Not bad, very good. I didn't expect you could see this. But are you so confident that I am no match for you?" Chi Tian nodded. "That's right, how about we have a fight? After you and Shilu finish fighting, we will have a duel. If I win, you will follow me for 100 years, and if you win, all the strong men of my demonic martial empire will fight for you in the true demon realm for 100 years, how about that?" Bu smiled evilly. "Okay. If you have this intention, I'd love to have you." After the ancient battle, although he didn't know what happened to the true demon realm later, but before it fully recovered, the great demon Lord Bu really needed a group of subordinates to help him fight. Although these people in front of him were not as good as him, each of them was considered a pretty strong man even in ancient times. Then Bu turned to Shilu. "Come on, my future warrior, let me teach you what real fighting is." As the most complete masterpiece of the strongest Dr. Gero, Shilu has become far beyond Dr. Gero's imagination after being taught by Sun Tian. Shilu, who has condensed the heart of martial arts, is not only powerful, but also more intelligent than before. "General. Wait until you defeat senior brother Chi Tian." After saying that, Shilu began to release his own aura, an aura far stronger than Vegeta's just now pressed towards Bu, and then golden aura emanated from his body. The entire ground began to shake, some stones were thrown into the air, and then vaporized. Bu had felt a powerful force in Cell before, but he didn't expect that Cell could actually increase his strength to this level. However, despite this, it only piqued Bu's interest a little. Shilu slowly calmed his breath and took it into his body. "Are you ready, Mr. Bu?" Bu just stood there, seemingly unintentionally, but it made Shilu feel that no matter which direction he attacked from, he couldn't get in. "You can attack at any time. Okay, be careful." As soon as he finished speaking, the Shilu before slowly disappeared. It turned out to be an afterimage. At the same time, Shilu's figure appeared in all directions at the same time. It's quite interesting, but it's just some tricks." Bu randomly chose a direction and punched out. The afterimage punch might be useful if the difference in strength was not too big, but there was a small realm difference between Shilu and Bu, so this confusing method would not work at all. Boom! Shilu was punched several hundred meters away and was knocked directly into the ground. However, things are not that simple. After Shilu was knocked away, Shilu's voice was heard from another direction at the same time. You've been fooled. Buu. A super strong energy gathered in the other Shilu's hand, Super Kamehameha Wave. Buu turned around, but what greeted him was Shilu's Super Kamehameha. A huge energy wave quickly attacked Buu. Perfect clone technique. Interesting, but unfortunately the gap between you and me is too big. Buu suddenly opened his mouth, took a deep breath, and the Super Kamehameha Wave slowly shrank like magic, and was finally completely swallowed by Buu. What? How is it possible? Shilu looked at Buu in disbelief. You know, although the energy wave he just launched was not released with his full strength, he at least used nearly 50% of his strength. However, he did not expect that Buu on the opposite side swallowed it up in one gulp. Boom! Not far away, the Cell clone, who was knocked into the ground by Buu's punch, overturned the rocks on the surface and flew out, but he was obviously seriously injured. It turned out that at the beginning, Shilu created a clone and hid it in the afterimage. He deliberately let one clone entangle Buu, while the other clone attacked from the back. Unfortunately, the difference in strength was too great and the expected result was not achieved at all. Huh, you're really strong. Come again. The two Shilu quickly merged into one. The bored clone would divide his original strength. Since that didn't work, he might as well attack with all his strength. After Buu absorbed Cell's energy wave, he also began to fight back. Both of them are masters of destruction level. Every collision will make a harsh sound, and a hole will be created in the space from time to time. The space in the human world is relatively fragile. With their collisions at the peak of their destructive power, they can easily tear it apart, constantly entering the subspace from the real world, and then returning to reality from the subspace. After who knows how many rounds of attacks, Buu gradually didn't want to play anymore. Although Cell's strength was not bad, it was just good to him. Up to now, he had not even used 50% of his combat power. That's it. Buu shouted loudly, then increased his strength to 60% and punched Shilu in the abdomen. What? How come it happened so fast all of a sudden? Shilu held his abdomen, feeling an intense pain that made him unable to muster any strength. The golden aura that originally enveloped him also disappeared, and beads of sweat appeared on Shilu's head. After such a long battle, Buu didn't even take a breath. The difference between the two is obvious. Buu looked at Shilu, do you still think I can't beat your senior brother Chi Tian? Shilu struggled to support his body. If this is all the strength you have, I have to say that you are no match for senior brother Chi Tian. After hearing this, Buu became even more excited about the upcoming battle with Sai Tian. After all, in his opinion, whether it was the Scion just now or the silence in front of him, they could only serve as a warm-up for him. Okay, I'll let you see who is stronger next time. Although Buu no longer cares about winning or losing after regaining his sanity, he still feels a little unhappy when he is always told that he is not as good as others. In the distance, Chi Tian saw that Shilu had boosted his fighting power, and he appeared beside Shilu in a flash. Shilu was a little embarrassed, I am sorry for bringing shame to our master. I will leave the rest to you, brother Chitian. Old man. If your father knew you called him that, would he show up in person and give you a good beating? Go down. Leave the rest to me. To be honest, I haven't fought seriously for a long time. On the other side, Vegeta and the others were fine, but Babidi and Dabura were so shocked that they didn't know what to say. Any one of the people present could be easily killed, and as for controlling Buu, he no longer dared to hope for it. Master Gora, what should we do now? Gora didn't expect this either. He originally thought that no matter how strong Buu was that Babidi mentioned, his combat power would at most be at the peak of destruction. But now it seems that the gap between this and his imagination is quite large. You know, his brother may reach the limit of destruction at any time, but even he is not sure about facing Buu now. Fortunately, this Buu is not like what Babidi said, who only knows how to destroy. Now I just hope that my son Sun Tian can handle it. Just watch for now. Don't have any evil thoughts against such a strong man. Also, remove Depura's curse later. It's not that Gora is interested in Depura, but he thinks Depura is a strong man after all, and a strong man should not be bound by constraints. Since Babidi expressed his willingness to follow Ashura in the future, he naturally would not refute Gora's opinion and immediately lifted Depura's curse. In fact, it doesn't matter to Depura. After Babidi's spell was lifted, Depura's power has obviously decreased a lot. The reason why Depura was willing to follow Babidi was because his spell could greatly improve his combat effectiveness. On the other side, Chi Tian and Buu stood facing each other. Only when they faced each other did Bu realize that there was someone among this group of people whose strength was not inferior to his. In his heyday, Bu was also a powerful true god. Although he has not fully recovered yet, he first obtained Dabura's energy and then received the energy injection from Gora. Now he has recovered his power to the limit of destruction. As a demon god that has existed since ancient times, Bu is top-notch in both combat talent and strength. As Chi Tian is the only person who can practice the ancient ape demonic art now, not only does he have a powerful bloodline, but he also has the martial arts background of the entire demonic martial empire. Although he has not fought against strong men many times, Wu Ning is an absolute strong man. Before the two of them started to fight, the collision of momentum had already begun, and the entire battlefield was in a silent environment. Get out of the way. We can't withstand any aftermath of their fight. The great elder Caesar felt the fluctuations in the aura on the battlefield. Although they had not yet officially fought, they already felt the pressure. The followers retreated dozens of kilometers away, but for them, a few dozen kilometers was enough to see the situation on the battlefield clearly. The destruction limit has begun to come into contact with the laws of this world. For example, in Buu's previous battles with Vegeta and Cell, it was not used at all, otherwise how could they have lasted so long? Bu was once a demon god who controlled both the laws of life and destruction. Although he has not fully recovered yet, he can still mobilize some of them. However, after Chi Tian reached the limit of destruction, he used the violent power law unique to the Scions. Combined with his powerful body after practicing that ancient ape demonic art, he took the path of breaking all laws with one force. The two men faced each other but did not start fighting immediately, or rather, they did not engage in physical fighting. However, the aura surrounding Saitama and Bu had already scared the people who were dozens of kilometers away. Great Elder, why are they standing there motionless? Although Nair has grown a lot over the years, and his combat power when he first entered the destructive period is already very strong in the universe, it is still not enough among this group of people. Nelu, pay attention, they have already started fighting, but they are not fighting in reality, but in the spiritual level. Nelu doesn't understand, but that doesn't mean the Great Elder doesn't understand either. Although Piccolo wanted to go up, his strength did not allow it. Is this Chi Tian? He is already on a different level than us without us realizing it. Vegeta was also shocked. I didn't expect that Kakarot's son is already so strong. It seems that I must find a way. I am the Prince of Planet Vegeta. How can I lag behind them so much? Thinking of future enemies, Vegeta felt a chill. Without the power to destroy the limit, he might not even be qualified to participate. Everyone has different feelings. On this side, in the spiritual space composed of the spiritual power of Chi Tian and Bu, the two have no idea how many rounds they have fought. Bu, I take back what I said before, you are really strong. At least, except for my father, you are the strongest person I have ever met. The battle in the spiritual space is just as dangerous. In fact, it is not good for Chi Tian to choose this way of fighting. You must know that Bu has existed since ancient times, and Chi Tian has been practicing for less than 20 years. If it weren't for the practice of the ancient ape demonic art, a martial art from other worlds, which made continuous breakthroughs in spirit and life form, he would probably have been defeated now. You're not bad. I think you're no more than 20 years old. I didn't expect you to be so strong. Bu was actually also very surprised. He had chosen to fight on the spiritual level because he wanted to win by relying on his own advantages. However, after such a long mental confrontation, he was unable to suppress Chi Tian. In the spiritual space, Chi Tian and Bu continued to fight. Bu sometimes roared loudly, and sometimes transformed into various ferocious beasts, but Chi Tian stood still as a mountain and directly manifested the true form of the ancient demon ape. No matter how Bu attacked, he would break it in a violent way. Bu is covered in black demonic aura, and Chi Tian's ancient demon ape true form also exudes terrifying demonic aura, making Bu wonder who is the real demon. However, although the aura of the two is similar, it is also different. There is a hint of evil in Buu's demonic aura, but there is more violence in Chi Tian's demonic aura. The two of them kept fighting each other, but neither could do anything to the other. Awesome, you are worthy of being the powerful enemy predicted by my father. If there was no me in the demon martial empire, I'm afraid no one would be your opponent. Ha 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 ha. Come on, take another one of my moves, demon ape roar. In the spiritual space, Chi Tian's true form of the demon ape roared directly at Bu. Even Bu was overwhelmed by this move. Spiritual barrier. Bu had to quickly set up dozens of protective barriers made of mental power, but they were broken through one after another with a roar, and it was not until the last 3 layers that Shin was blocked. The battle in the spiritual space is far more intense than in reality, because if you are not careful, you may suffer mental damage, which may cause unconsciousness or even just a body. However, both of them are not ordinary people. Chi Tian has already merged his body and soul since he broke through to the 5th level of ancient ape demon art, and Bu himself cultivates the law of life and his soul is extremely powerful. Bu tried to use black magic against Chi Tian several times, but Chi Tian's soul and body had long been indistinguishable from each other. Bu's black magic, after all, was the application of the laws of life, thereby changing the life forms of others, and it had no effect on Chi Tian at all. Bu did not expect that the battle on the spiritual level would be so intense. No, it seems that neither of us can do anything to the other. I just don't know how strong you are now. Chi Tian's demonic ape true form replied, you couldn't do anything to me in the spiritual world, and you are even less capable of doing so now. Bu said, okay, then we'll decide the winner in reality. In the distance, the Great Elder and others noticed that the spiritual magnetic field that had been surrounding the battlefield was slowly shrinking, and then they found that Chi Tian and Bu opened their eyes at the same time. Ha ha ha. It feels so good, it's been a long time since the ancient war. Boy, you better be careful next time. Chi Tian replied, you are the one who should be careful. I have gained new insights from the battle just now. I believe I will be able to be promoted to the true God realm soon. As soon as the words fell, the two of them launched fierce attacks on each other almost at the same time. Bu punched out, and Chi Tian also returned a punch. During the collision, powerful waves spread in all directions. Wherever they passed, the rocks and trees were all turned into powder. The area within a few thousand meters became a complete forbidden zone for life. Dozens of kilometers away, the great demon King Piccolo shouted, retreat again, they are too strong. Is this their strength? Vegeta was also shocked, is this the power of the destruction limit? No, it's not just pure power. As for the two warring parties, Bu had a look of disbelief on his face. He had just used the law of destruction. You know, the law of destruction is extremely aggressive, unlike his law of life which is mainly used for recovery. But the little ghost on the opposite side was able to resolve it easily, which shows that what the other party said before was not false, and the other party's laws seem to be very unusual, somewhat like the violent power law of the ancient golden giant ape, but it also contains another law. Okay. Come again. Destruction Fist. Bu attacked Chi Tian again, and Chi Tian fought back with the same violent force. Look at me breaking it with one force. Reverse Dragon Flash. A dragon-shaped shadow followed Bu's magic fist and went up against it. The domineering force directly collided with Bu, and a force that could turn the heaven and earth upside down directly blocked Bu's magic fist. How is this possible? What kind of move is this? Bu was directly knocked several thousand meters away, his entire arm completely disappeared, and the remaining power continued to erode him. Even his life law took a long time to recover. Bu, although your attack and life recovery are good, your defense is too poor. Bu is also a family member who knows his own business. His defense is at most not much different from that of Vegeta and the others. If he meets someone with super strong attack power like Chi Tian, he will probably be smashed to pieces in a few hits. Although he can recover with his powerful life recovery ability, he has no chance at all if he meets Chi Tian and others of the same level. How is it, have you recovered? Do you want to continue? It was not until this moment that Bu realized how terrifying Chi Tian was once he got serious. The punch he just struck, which contained the law of destruction, was actually blown back. Moreover, that special law, even his life law, took a long time to eliminate. The same punch directly knocked away Bu's pride when he was just born. No more fighting. I admit that I underestimated you. What was that move you just used? This is the first time I've used this new move against an enemy. The ancient ape demonic art cultivates the physical body, fights to support fighting, and with the powerful physical body in the violent power law he has comprehended, no matter how strong the vitality is, it cannot compare to it. Sharp. Chi Tian did not expect that this reverse dragon flash was so powerful, and it was a purely physical attack. The overbearing force was so strong that even Bu took a long time to recover. Are you giving up now? If so, you have to wait 100 years. For someone like Bu who possesses immortality, a mere 100 years is nothing, not to mention that Chi Tian has the strength to do so, and he also needs to rely on Chi Tian's power to avoid some troubles. Of course, only 100 years. The two men restrained their breath and discovered that several kilometers of the battlefield had been completely destroyed. Fortunately, for the demonic martial Saint Star, it would not take a few years for it to recover. Soon everyone returned to the holy world of demon and martial arts. When Alba discovered the great demon King Piccolo, she was also stunned. Although she had learned from Danton that their father god had already reached the late stage of destruction, she still found it incredible when she actually saw it. Uncle Gola, how long do you plan to stay in the human world? Now Babiti's matter is basically over. Although he was unable to control Bu, he now has the support of Ashura, a true god-level backer. Qitian, we are done with this matter, and we are ready to go back to the true demon realm. It seems that there is nothing wrong with the demon martial empire, why don't you come with us to the true demon realm? Qitian can naturally practice the ancient ape demon art in the true demon realm, and if Majin Bu wants to quickly restore his former strength, the true demon realm Wuning is the best place to practice. Not only Qitian and Bu, even the great elders were somewhat tempted. You have to know that the demonic martial empire is now on the right track, and they, the high-level officials, are more for deterrence. As for the operation of the demonic martial empire, they are completely unnecessary. Moreover, the seventh universe has always been the territory of the gods. Although the gods have not reacted yet, they will discover it sooner or later. Qitian looked at the great elder and others, wanting to hear their opinions. The great elder Kaisar said, we will leave some of our people behind, I believe that is enough. Piccolo and Slag also said, going to the true demon realm is good, it should be a good place for us to develop. Both of them once called themselves demons, so they naturally yearned for the real demon world. Vegeta, what about you? Vegeta also wanted to go, but he thought that he would not be able to see his wife for a long time after going. At this moment, a divine power suddenly appeared on the demon martial Saint Star, overwhelming everyone to the point where they could hardly breathe. I found you. I was wondering who could interfere with my perception. It turns out to be the remnants of the Scions and Namekians. A figure suddenly appeared in the sky above the devil and martial saint realm. He had blue-green skin, long white curly hair, purple pupils and lips, a light blue divine ring on his neck that only angels would have, and a scepter in his right hand. Who else could it be but Whis, the guardian angel of the seventh universe? When Bu was released, the terrifying demonic energy was also captured by Whis. Combined with the actions of Gora and the others before, Whis left the destroyer god realm and prepared to go and investigate. As soon as Whis entered the Milky Way star field, he discovered that there seemed to be a terrifying amount of powerful aura in this star field, and most of them were concentrated on the planet under his feet. Not long after Qitian and Bu finished their battle and returned to the holy world of demon and martial arts, Whis had already arrived here. However, with Whis' strength as the true god, even Qitian and Bu did not notice him. To be honest, Whis was also shocked when he saw the people below. You know, there are quite a few Scions in the seventh universe, but the only one that can really make them pay attention is the legendary Super Scion that appears once every 1,000 years. As for the other Scions, they are not to be feared at all. As for that legendary Super Scion, there are angels specially responsible for watching him in the true god realm, so Whis usually doesn't take it seriously. What's more, a few years ago, Virginie from the true god realm had personally descended to the mortal world. In his opinion, that Chuan Chao had already been forced to reincarnate again. But now he realized that without anyone noticing, the Scions and Namekians had grown so powerful. From what he could sense, there were several people at the peak of destruction, and no less than 10 people at the early to late stages of destruction. This was a bit terrifying. What's more, he also sensed that among the group of people below, there were actually 2 super powerful people with the ability to destroy the limit, and one of them could break through to the true god level at any time. Qitian and Bu were shocked. They didn't expect that someone could approach them right under their noses without them noticing. Qitian shouted, "Who are you?" Whis is tall and slender. Although he is a man, he always speaks in a feminine tone, half covering his mouth. I didn't expect that you Scions have declined to the point where you don't even remember your former enemies. The great elder Kaisar and others were as if they were facing a formidable enemy. Qitian, be careful, he is an angel. Whis looked at Caesar in surprise, oh, it's you. I didn't expect that you not only survived more than 400 years ago, but also became much stronger. Kaisar said angrily, more than 400 years ago. Could it be that you are the mysterious person behind that war? When he thought about how their Namekian tribe was almost exterminated more than 400 years ago, even though Caesar had a good temper, he became a little angry. Whis smiled mysteriously. When Myers was hunting down Moro of the true demon realm, he accidentally discovered the Namekian clan who were at their peak. He later reported it to his superiors. Although they did not send the angels to participate in the extermination, they only sent hundreds of Kaioshin clan members in the middle stage of destruction. But it was obvious that they underestimated the strength of the Namekians at that time. At that time, the Kaioshin clan was almost wiped out by the Namekian clan. If Whis had not discovered it in time and severely injured the Great Elder who was in the late stage of destruction, the Namekian clan might have escaped the massacre. However, because Whis had to look after the god of destruction Beerus at that time, he just casually created a destruction-level clone to assist. But even so, he had the strength of the peak of destruction, which was far beyond what Caesar could resist. However, after severely injuring Caesar, Whis' clone did not attack again, but instead blocked the entire Namek, preventing anyone from escaping. After the explosion of Namek, and after making sure that all the people were extinct, Whis returned to the world of destruction. However, he did not expect that the Great Elder at that time had managed to survive and now possessed the power of destruction. Although he was unwilling to explain, Weiss still slowly explained what happened that year. Yes, that was just a clone of mine. I just didn't expect that you could evade my prying eyes and survive. Caesar's veins were exposed. He was filled with resentment when he thought of what happened in the past. What a god clan. It seems that you want to wipe us out in one fell swoop today. Weiss chuckled. I don't think you have the ability to escape. The strongest among you can only reach the destruction limit. During the conversation, Caesar sent a message to Chi Tian, we will hold him back for a while, you find a way to escape. Without waiting for Chi Tian to answer, Caesar, Piccolo, Slug, and Vegeta attacked Whis at the same time as if they had discussed it beforehand. Ultimate Annihilation Bomb. Dragon Flash. Dark Shockwave. Ultimate Flash. The four of them used their strongest skills at the same time, and four shock waves quickly attacked Weiss. Weiss lightly tapped the staff in his right hand and sneered, you are just a peak late-stage destroyer, and you dare to attack me. Protective Shield. The four fused attack waves hit Weiss's shield without causing even a ripple. You know, even Bu, who is at his destruction limit, has to be careful with the attacks of these four people, but they were blocked by Weiss's random protective shield. What? How is it possible? Qitian, hurry up. Unfortunately, the gap in strength was too great, and their attacks were completely ineffective. Weiss easily neutralized the strongest attack of the four people. Just as Weiss was about to counterattack, a figure suddenly appeared behind Weiss. It was Shilu. At some point, Shilu actually went around to the back of Weiss, and the long-prepared iron fist, like a falling comet, directly hit Weiss's protective shield. Humph, I've already spotted you. The expected effect did not appear. Instead, Shilu's arm was directly shattered by the rebound force of the protective shield. Impossible. I was actually injured by my own punch. Weiss looked at the crowd as if they were laughing at a joke, it's useless, all this is in vain. Don't you know what a true god is? With your strongest combat power, which is no more than the peak of destruction, you can't even break my protective shield. Everyone was shocked by how powerful Weiss was. Although they had known for a long time that the angels were terribly strong, they had not expected the gap to be so huge when they actually faced each other. No wonder Sun Tianjin, who was at the god stage, didn't want to provoke him. Whis turned around and looked at Shilu who had lost an arm. Sion. No, Namekian. That's not right. I didn't expect that in addition to the Ice Clan, there is someone as powerful as you in this universe. How about it, are you interested in becoming the next god of destruction? Shilu's missing arm kept squirming, and the flesh buds rolled. After a while, a brand new arm grew out. I'm not interested, and I'm not used to being a puppet. Weiss chuckled, that's such a shame. As soon as he finished speaking, Weiss rushed in front of Shilu and punched him. Shilu flew backwards for several thousand meters and fell to the ground with heavy injuries. Then Whis turned around and looked at Bu, demons. It seems that the people from the true demon realm came down to the lower world just for you. It's a pity that you are still too weak. After all, Bu is a demon from the ancient times, and as a super strong man who once reached the peak of true god, he was ranked high even in ancient times. Humph, you are just a late-stage true god angel. If this demon god had not just awakened, how dare you act so arrogantly in front of me? Although he didn't say it, he still felt unhappy after losing the bet with Chi Tian. Now he was despised by his former mortal enemy, the angels. How could Bu bear it? Whis was only a new generation of angels. He had heard a lot about the things in ancient times, so he didn't know Bu. However, he felt a little unhappy when he saw Bu being so arrogant. He's just a demon who can destroy the limit, but he dares to call himself a demon god. You know, in the true demon realm or the true god realm, only those who have reached the true god level can be called gods. This demon in front of him actually dares to call himself a demon god. He is simply ignorant of the immensity of heaven and earth. Bu was very depressed. If he had not been severely injured by several true god peak angels from the true god realm in the ancient battle, how could a mere true god late-stage angel dare to be arrogant in front of him? However, his life might be lost here. Although he had means to save his life, he did not want to sleep for another billions of years. Little ghost, do you have any ideas? Otherwise I have to find a way to leave. Ever since Whis appeared, it seemed that the rhythm was controlled by Whis. It was amazing to see this demon actually asking another person for help. Hehe, I admit that I am stronger than you. The scion next to you seems to be stronger, but do you think he is my opponent? Chi Tian had regained his composure by then, whether it's true or not, we'll know after the fight. Chi Tian's aura had completely transformed at some point, and a true god-level aura slowly emanated from Chi Tian. Under Weiss's oppression, Chi Tian finally completed the transformation and became the second true god-level powerhouse in the demonic martial empire. His talent was much stronger than Sun Tian's. You have to know that Chi Tian is less than 20 years old since he was born. What does this mean? Oh, you actually broke through with the help of my oppression. But even if you broke through, what can it matter? Do you think you can still defeat me by leaping 2 small realms? Whis had never thought that he would actually witness the birth of a true god-level warrior, but so what? Chi Tian sent a message to Bu, please keep an eye on the others for me. I'm going to meet this angel. Then Chi Tian slowly said to Weiss, you should be the guardian angel of the 7th universe, Weiss, right? This surprised Whis. You know, he has never revealed his name since he appeared. The scion boy in front of him actually knew him, which made Whis somewhat interested. Oh, I didn't expect you to know me. It seems that you know a lot of things over the years. Chi Tian didn't want to say much. They did know a lot about the ancient times, but they knew Weiss from his father Sun Tian. They do know a lot, but that's not important, right? Weiss smiled, it's really not important. I don't want to get involved in those things from the ancient times, but now that I have discovered it, I can't let you continue to grow. When facing other people, Weiss can still remain proud, but when facing Chi Tian who has reached the level of true god, Weiss has to cheer up. The air suddenly became heavy, and an invisible might slowly unfolded above the holy realm. The two men faced each other, locking each other with their aura. On the other side, Bu, who received the message from Chi Tian, had already teleported with the others hundreds of kilometers away. Weiss looked at Chi Tian and said, are you ready? At some point, the scepter in Wiss's right hand had disappeared. Although he didn't emit the same dazzling aura as Vegeta and the others, he gave Chi Tian a more unfathomable feeling. As for Chi Tian, his fighting field had expanded without anyone noticing. He gathered all his strength into his body, condensing it without releasing it. Suddenly, the two of them disappeared at the same time, and when they reappeared, they were already in midair. Chi Tian kept punching, and every random punch was many times stronger than the one he had in the previous fight with Majin Bu, but they were all easily blocked or dodged by Whis. Not bad, not bad. Once you enter the true god level, you can completely control your power and send and receive it freely. Although Weiss was more defensive than offensive, it was much easier for him than Chi Tian. The gap between the two realms was not so easy to make up. Really? If that's the case, then follow the laws of heaven and earth. Chi Tian's true body disappeared, and a golden giant ape tens of thousands of meters tall suddenly appeared in the place where he was. What? This power is at least close to the middle stage of the true god. And what kind of monster is this? Could this be the legendary ancient golden giant ape? A terrifying aura emanated from the giant ape. The oppressive feeling brought by its huge body was so great that even Weiss, who had already reached the late stage of true god, was amazed. Time goes backwards. In an instant, Weiss's staff appeared in his hand, and a wave of law slowly flashed. The environment destroyed by the battle was restored at a speed visible to the naked eye. The law of time, although only partially controlled, is also very powerful. But what surprised Weiss was that Chi Tian's magical power did not disappear. In front of him was still a golden giant ape tens of thousands of meters tall, as if the previous law of time had no effect on Chi Tian at all. How is it possible that you are not affected by my time reversal? Weiss couldn't believe it. What kind of magical power was this? How could it not even affect the reversal of time? No, it's nothing. Take my move, the Devil Ape Destruction Shockwave. Chi Tian's statue was already huge. Almost in an instant, a huge black energy ball gathered in its mouth. The destructive aura on the energy ball shocked even Weiss. Boom! The energy ball rushed straight towards Weiss, and the space along the way seemed to be empty and shattered continuously. Space-time barrier. Weiss waved the scepter in his right hand and set up time and space barriers on his body. Chi Tian's shock wave soon collided with the space-time barrier. The outermost barrier lasted less than a breath before it was pierced through. Then the second layer, the third layer, and it was only blocked after penetrating more than 10 layers. What, so strong? Although Weiss's space-time barrier completely blocked Chi Tian's attack, he couldn't help but marvel at the power of this force. However, before Weiss could counterattack, Chi Tian's attack came again, and energy bombs kept attacking Weiss as if they were free. Weiss, who is clearly in the late stage of true God, was forced to continuously reinforce the space-time barrier. You know, every attack of Chi Tian has almost the power of true God level. Little devil, you pissed me off. I'm afraid that since Weiss has been guarding the 7th universe, she has never encountered such a thing. You know, Weiss is usually very gentle, and she even maintains due respect for Beerus. With a loud shout, Weiss suddenly began to emanate a terrifying power. At the same time, Weiss's figure began to change. The light blue divine ring on his neck slowly disappeared, and a pair of pure golden wings condensed on his back. His whole body began to grow larger, and after a while his whole body grew nearly 2 meters tall. Although compared with Chi Tian's Dharma image that was tens of thousands of meters tall, he was still like an ant, but Weiss's aura now had undergone earth-shaking changes from before. The angel's true form is a transformation that only true God-level angels can perform, which can maximize the angel's strength. Chi Tian felt the terrifying aura from Weiss, so this is your true strength, it's really powerful. The entire demonic martial Saint Star was shaking violently due to the confrontation between the two men. The Great Elder and others who were hundreds of kilometers away felt that they were a complete burden compared to these two men. Chi Tian knew that if he continued to maintain his true form, he would only become a living target for the opponent. Although the power of his Dharma image had more than doubled, it was very physically demanding to maintain, and he was also much inferior in speed and agility. With a thought, Chi Tian returned to his original appearance, but at the same time he also expanded the fighting field with all his strength. Even Weiss, who had already released his angelic true form, felt that his power seemed to be suppressed a lot in an instant. What the hell is this thing of yours that can suppress me, who is in the late stage of true God? Weiss was a little surprised. You know, he had lived for hundreds of millions of years, but had never encountered such a thing. In the fighting field, as long as your strength far exceeds mine, you will be suppressed by my field, and my combat power will also be boosted in the field. Chi Tian had already calmed down his aura that had just been violently output and slightly chaotic. When did the Scions develop this kind of skill? Weiss found it a little unbelievable, but even if he was suppressed, he was confident that he could defeat Chi Tian. Both of them were gathering their energy in secret. The next moment, Chi Tian disappeared. When he reappeared, he had already kicked towards Weiss's chassis. So fast. No, you're teleporting. Yes, although the momentum of the two had already disrupted this space, even a true god did not dare to use teleportation, because if he was not careful he would be swallowed by the space rift. Although it was not fatal, it would take a certain amount of time to get out again. But in the field of fighting, Chi Tian is the controller of the territory. As long as the territory covers, he can appear at any time. Although Weiss was hit accidentally, he reacted quickly. The next moment, Weiss seemed to have skipped time, and Chi Tian's sweep missed directly. Although Weiss was right in front of him, he couldn't touch Weiss's body. Time goes backwards. You can actually hide yourself in the past in an instant. Yes, at the moment of Chi Tian's attack, Weiss went back a few breaths and directly avoided Chi Tian's sweep. In this way, the two were in different time dimensions, so Chi Tian's attack naturally had no effect. Chi Tian quickly moved away instantly, and the next moment, Weiss's attack appeared at the position that Chi Tian had previously occupied. Yeah, you're quite alert. The law of time is indeed the most troublesome law. Unfortunately, when you dodge my attack, you can't attack me, and you can only maintain it for a few breaths. If you want to attack, you must return to the original reality. That being said, it is still quite troublesome to crack it. The two of them fought back and forth, and for a while, neither of them could do anything to the other. One could teleport and attack at any time, and the other could hide directly in different time dimensions. It was as if Weiss's body could judge Chi Tian's attacks on its own and he was able to dodge in time every time. But Chi Tian's teleportation made it difficult for him to organize an effective attack. No, if this continues, sooner or later, a flaw will be exposed. By constantly getting familiar with the opponent's fighting style, Chi Tian also gradually figured out Weiss's methods. The next moment, Chi Tian still teleported close to Weiss, but when attacking, he calculated Weiss's gaps and knocked Weiss hundreds of meters away with one punch. Weiss was also a little surprised. It had only been a short time since the other party cracked his time reversal method. However, he didn't know that the ancient ape demonic art that Chi Tian practiced, the fighting chapter in it was born for battle, and he continued to gain insights in battle. You're very good. It's been a while since anyone approached you. The last time was during the battle with my sister. Weiss smiled, as if he had found a nice toy. As Weiss laughed, a sense of crisis suddenly appeared in Chi Tian's heart. Not good. The next moment, Weiss appeared directly in front of Chi Tian and knocked Chi Tian away with his punch. What happened just now? At that moment, Weiss seemed to have teleported. No, it wasn't teleportation, it was time acceleration. Changing the local time flow rate can not only reverse time, but also accelerate time. As for time reversal, Weiss only understood the basics and could at most make a part of the area flow back to 3 minutes ago. But time acceleration was different. In that instant just now, Weiss suddenly increased the speed of time in this area by dozens of times, so that Chi Tian couldn't react at all. Or maybe Chi Tian had been on guard against Weiss's time going backwards, and didn't think about it that way, time acceleration. Damn, how could there be such a perverted law? Chi Tian stood up and stretched his body. Fortunately, it was not affected. At this moment, the benefits of the strong physical body were reflected. If other people were suddenly hit by this blow, even if they did not die, they would definitely be injured. However, Chi Tian and Sun Tian, who practiced the ancient ape demon art, had physical strengths that were simply unreasonable. Weiss was shocked. You know, he had used almost 70% of his strength just now, but he didn't expect that Chi Tian on the opposite side was like nothing happened. What a strong physical body, even the physical body of a late true god can't compare to it. The angels are also a race with strong bodies. Don't be fooled by their weak appearance. Even the scions of the same level in ancient times could only be on par with them. But now it is discovered that Chi Tian's body is not weaker than his. Weiss used time acceleration again and appeared behind Chi Tian in an instant. Even though Chi Tian was prepared, he was kicked away again, and a peak of the Demon Warrior mountain range was directly broken. Come out, you can't just fall down like that with your ability after that kick. Boom! The mountain that had just broken off shrank at a speed visible to the naked eye, and Chi Tian used it as a weapon to hit Weiss. During the flight, the mountain grew larger at a speed visible to the naked eye. What kind of superpower is this? Weiss was shocked by Chi Tian's move. Fortunately, it was just an ordinary mountain. Although it was hard, it had no effect on Weiss. A balloon gathered in his hand, and the mountain of thousands of meters was directly destroyed by Weiss. Just as Weiss was about to say something, he suddenly felt a sense of danger from behind him. You've been fooled. Reverse Dragon Flash. Chi Tian kept moving his hands, and his whole body turned into a golden dragon, attacking directly towards Weiss. What? What kind of move is this? Light of Judgment. In a hurry, Weiss's hands emitted a dazzling white light, and he took Chi Tian's Reverse Dragon Flash. The two forces actually stalemate, but then Weiss's Light of Judgment was broken. Not good. However, with the Light of Judgment blocking him, Weiss finally managed to use the Law of Time and hid in the past-time dimension in an instant. The space at the original location was directly shattered, and a black hole was slowly appearing, swallowing everything around it. The next moment, Chi Tian's figure stepped directly out of the black hole, and the black hole behind him slowly disappeared, but Chi Tian's aura was obviously much weaker. Weiss was shocked, and actually tore the universe apart, forming a swallowing black hole. Damn it, little brat, you've completely pissed me off. Weiss released his aura crazily, and after the attack just now, Chi Tian found it difficult to organize a decent counterattack for a while. The whole body was hit by Weiss like a ball, and the fight lasted for nearly half an hour. Soon, there was no place in the entire Demon Warrior mountain range, which was hundreds of miles in radius. The entire mountain range was flattened by the violent Weiss, and it was thousands of meters shorter. Chi Tian stood up with difficulty. If it weren't for his strong body, anyone else would probably have died. What a strong life, but it ends here. At this time, Chi Tian's clothes had long disappeared, leaving his upper body naked, with scars all over his body. Is it still not working? You are worthy of being a powerful late true god. Whis wasn't much better. One of his angel wings was broken off, and his originally intact hairstyle was now messy. But compared to Chi Tian, he was in much better shape. He laughed, I admit that you are very strong. Even among our angels, there are definitely no more than 50 people who can defeat you. But that's all. Ha ha ha, it's not easy to find a true god-level scion, but it's a pity that he still can't escape his fate. At this moment, Lord Piccolo appeared beside Chi Tian at some point, and the Great Elder, Tsurugu, Gora, Vegeta, Cell, Bu and others also flew over. Whis glanced at everyone with contempt, why, do you still want to attack me together? Piccolo helped Chi Tian up, Chi Tian, how are you? Are you okay? Chi Tian felt warm in his heart, Uncle Piccolo, I'm afraid we are really in danger this time. I didn't expect that the late true god is so strong, I am too arrogant. Chi Tian originally thought that he had broken through to the true god level, and with his various magical powers, he could at least compete with Whis, if not defeat him. However, he did not expect that he was still far behind. The Great Elders all radiated their strongest auras, but even though Whis had sustained some injuries in his battle with Chi Tian, he was still no match for them. Although Chi Tian was seriously injured, he was still able to fight. However, when he thought about the fact that he failed to protect the magic martial empire, his father would probably be disappointed when he came back. Whis looked at the group of people in front of him. He didn't expect that these people dared to stand in front of him even though they knew they were no match for him. Foolish mortals, do you think a group of ants can beat an elephant? After saying that, Whis slowly rose into the sky, since you want to die, then destroy your planet together with it. In Whis's hand, an energy ball slowly took shape. The energy contained in it could definitely turn the entire Magic Saint Star into cosmic dust. Although the Magic Martial Saint Star has been transformed to withstand hundreds of billions of energy attacks, it can still be destroyed in front of the true god. Since the establishment of the Magic Martial Empire, it is facing a real life and death crisis for the first time. I wish everyone a happy Dragon Boat Festival. Thank you for the monthly ticket that is not destined to be with you in this life, oh happy face oh. However, just as Whis was about to completely destroy the Magic Martial Saint Star, a shocking phenomenon suddenly broke out in the entire Magic Martial Star system. An unprecedented space-time energy suddenly appeared in the space where Whis was originally, and then a space-time black hole slowly appeared in the air. Then a powerful shock wave passed through the black hole of space and time and attacked Whis, forcing Whis to give up the idea of destroying the Magic Saint Star. Whis casually deflected the shock wave and looked curiously at the other side of the space-time black hole. At this time, he saw a figure slowly walking out of the black hole. Whis was shocked. It was another scion, and a scion form that no one had achieved in a long time. What was going on? And judging from his aura, it seemed that he was no weaker than Chi Tian just now. You have to know that he had just fought with Chi Tian, and now his divine power has not fully recovered. Although he would have no problem dealing with the group of people below, if another true god-level strongman came, even he would not be able to handle it. Whis felt that the world had changed. How come the scions had become so strong? He stepped forward and asked, who are you? Although Whis had never seen a Super Saiyan 5, he knew from his tribe that in ancient times, the scions were able to evolve continuously. If Super Saiyan 1 to Super Saiyan 3 was merely an increase in strength, then Super Saiyan 4 had become a sublimation of life form. A scion who becomes Super Saiyan 4 can even live in Super Saiyan 4 form for a long period of time. Super Saiyan 4 is already equivalent to a strong person who can destroy the limit. Even in ancient times, there would not be many scions who evolved to Super Saiyan 4. But the scion that appeared now has obviously made another breakthrough based on Super Saiyan 4. His upper body is naked, covered with a layer of silver hair, his muscles are filled with explosive power, his waist-length hair is silver white and his whole face is obviously evil. All signs indicate that this is the 5th stage of Super Saiyan. Who am I? You can call me Bardock. That's right, the person who walked out of the space-time black hole was Bardock, who had disappeared for more than a year. More than a year ago, Bardock bid farewell to Sun Tian and went to 2 other parallel time and space. After more than a year, the Bardock of the 2 time and space were finally merged. The new Bardock after the fusion has become a true god-level powerhouse, and the one who appears in front of Whis now is Bardock's latest form, the 5th Super Saiyan. Originally, Bardock was planning to stay in the mirror time and space of Sun Wukong for a while, but the battle between Chi Tian and Whis was too shocking, and Bardock could feel it across time and space, so Bardock broke through the barrier of time and space and descended directly to Sun Tian's time and space. However, he discovered that in this space and time, an angel was gathering a large amount of energy, trying to destroy the entire Demon Saint Star. Therefore, Bardock fired a Qigong bullet across space and time. The appearance of Bardock ruined Whis' plan to destroy the planet. What was going on? Why did that power just now resemble the space-time energy of the World Core tribe? You know, even among the World Core tribe, there are very few people who can possess space-time energy. There are not even more than 20 World Core tribe members in the entire True God realm who can control space-time energy. However, their status is many times higher than that of ordinary World Core tribe members. Even the True God of their angel tribe is inferior to them. But a scion actually used the energy of time and space, which is a more powerful law than the law of time they mastered. Weiss said angrily, "Space-time energy, you came from the mirror time and space." Below, the people who were originally prepared to wait for death suddenly found a person emerging from the black hole of time and space. However, except for Qi Tian and Wu Tian, no one recognized him. They only saw that the other person's face was somewhat similar to Sun Tian, but somewhat different. Super Saiyan 5's Bardock is naturally different from Sun Tian in appearance, but since they are father and son, some similarities can still be seen. Qi Tian told everyone to wait there, and then flew directly to Bardock. "Grandfather, be careful, the other party is an angel in the late True God stage." When Bardock saw Qi Tian coming, he originally thought that Sun Tian was fighting with the angel on the opposite side, but he didn't find any trace of Sun Tian at all. Looking at Qi Tian again, "Good boy, you are worthy of being my grandson. You have actually broken through to the True God realm." Bardock does have some vision. Although Qi Tian and Sun Tian did not take the route of Super Saiyan transformation to sublimate their lives, his route seems to be more perfect than theirs. Whis' face wasn't so good. Qi Tian alone already made him feel a little threatened, and now there was another Bardock who was even stronger than Qi Tian. And from listening to their conversation, they were actually a grandfather and grandson. If he was still in his prime, he wouldn't be afraid of falling, but he had already used up a lot of energy in the previous battle with Qi Tian, and now he had less than half of his prime, which made Weiss think about retreating. Bardock seemed to see what Whis was thinking. "Why, you want to leave? Let's fight first." As soon as he finished speaking, Bardock appeared in front of Whis in an instant. So fast. Weiss hurriedly retreated and at the same time used a time retreat move. "It's no use. I also know the law of time." Boom. Whis didn't expect that Bardock was not weaker than him in the law of time, and he broke through his barrier directly. A violent force hit Whis' face and knocked him hundreds of meters away. Qi Tian watched from the side. "Is this the legendary Super 5? This power is too strong." Comparing himself, Qi Tian found that the power Bardock had just burst out was even stronger than his own magical power. Furious, wild. Coupled with Bardock's use of time and space, Whis had not recovered from the previous battle with Qi Tian, and now he was forced to retreat step by Bardock. However, Whis was also a powerful True God in the late stage, and his realm was much higher than Bardock. As the battle continued, he gradually began to fight back. Once again, Whis pushed Bardock back. "I admit that you are very strong. You are 10% stronger than that brat just now. But if you want to keep me here, you don't have the ability to do so." Bardock also knew how difficult it was to keep a True God-level warrior. And he had not yet fully adapted to his current state. Although it seems that Whis only has half of his strength left, as a late True God, he is still very powerful. Bardock has only just evolved to Super 5. Although he put Whis at a disadvantage at the beginning because of the extraordinary space-time energy, as the battle continued, Whis slowly began to react. Bardock also knew that it was impossible to keep Whis completely, unless Qi Tian could fully recover. They could give it a try with their combined strength. Even so, I want you to know that we Scions are not easy to bully. Bardock exploded with anger again, his silver-white hair moved without wind, and he attacked Whis again. Whis also knew that it was impossible to make Bardock give up with just a few harsh words, so he also began to fight back. The two men fought again, their figures kept flashing in the air, the space was constantly shattered, and Qi Tian had already fallen back to the ground, taking the Great Elder and others hundreds of kilometers away. In a battle between true gods, they had no way to intervene. If they were slightly affected, they would be destroyed by the aftermath. Vegeta saw Bardock and his men fighting. "Chichen, is that your grandfather, Mr. Bardock? You have to know that Bardock was a legend on planet Vegeta. Although he was just a low-level fighter, he kept breaking through the limits and became one of the few beings on planet Vegeta whose combat power exceeded 10,000. Although Vegeta was young at that time, he had heard the story of Bardock. Otherwise, why would he, a prince, let Raditz become a member of his team? It was because his father intended to do so. Unexpectedly, when he saw the legend of Planet Vegeta again, the other party had actually broken through to the true god level. Vegeta could feel the excitement in his heart, but at the same time a bit unwilling. You know, he was a true genius back then, and he had surpassed most of the adult Saiyans when he was still a child. Now, watching other Saiyans become stronger one by one, and although he has reached a level that he had never dared to imagine before, he is still far behind Sun Tian, Chi Tian, Bardock and others. At this moment Vegeta finally made up his mind to go to the true demon realm to practice after this storm was over, otherwise he would have no chance to participate in future battles. As for Bulma, you can take her along when the time comes. Ever since the Great Elder joined the demonic martial empire, Bulma has also received help from the Great Elder and has channeled the potential in her body. Although she only has a combat power of a few 100,000 now, I think she can survive in the real demon realm. The Great Elders Caesar, Piccolo, Slagu and others had the same idea. Although they were already very powerful now, they would not be able to participate in future battles with the angels unless they reached the realm of true gods. On the other side, the battle between Bardock and Whis is coming to an end. Although Whis is strong, after first fighting with Chi Tian and now fighting with Bardock, his energy has basically been exhausted. The two separated again, and Whis said helplessly, "Bardock, right? I'll remember you. The next time we meet, it will be the end of you guys." After saying that, Whis directly used the forbidden power to force Bardock away, and he took the opportunity to tear the space apart and quickly went to the Destruction God realm. At the same time, he also had to prepare to go to the True God realm to inform the clan of what happened here. By the time Bardock reacted, Whis had already disappeared, but there was no point in fighting any further, and Bardock was almost at his limit. The holy world of demon and martial arts had been completely destroyed after one or two battles, and those things in the original Earth Heaven had also disappeared in the long river of history. Everyone was surprised and excited about Bardock's return. Now, their demonic martial empire, including Sun Tian who had already gone out, now had 3 true god-level warriors. Bardock knew what everyone meant, but thinking that the science and Namek of the demon empire had already been exposed, the next time the angels came, it would definitely not be as simple as a true god. Bardock said, "What are we going to do next? We have been exposed. It is definitely impossible to stay here any longer." Although Bardock can lead everyone to the mirror time and space, if the angels are determined to find them, they will also find a way to go to the mirror time and space. Chi Tian replied, "The only solution now is to retreat into the true demon realm. After all, the true demon realm is not much different in strength from the true god realm, and the two sides are mortal enemies." Gola stepped forward and said, "If you really want to, you can go to the true demon realm with us. Once you are there, with your abilities, you can definitely build another kingdom of God. As for joining Ashura, that is totally unrealistic. You must know that no matter whether it is Bardock or Chi Tian, their strength may be slightly weaker than Ashura, but they are definitely unwilling to work under Ashura forever. However, if they establish a kingdom of God by then, they can help and support Ashura." Finally, everyone discussed and prepared to go directly to the true demon realm. As for the current demonic martial empire, they also prepared to select some people to go together. In the capital of Demon Saint Star, everyone already knows about the previous battle. The great devil Piccolo shows up and tells everyone what happened. "Your Majesty the Great Demon King, do you mean that we should transfer our entire group to another dimension?" Everyone couldn't believe it. You know, they have all been with the Magic Martial Holy Land until today, and they have deep feelings for the Magic Martial Empire. Yes, whether you are willing or not depends on your willingness. We will set off in one day. This time, it's mainly the human warriors from Earth who followed them back then, like Tien Shinhan, Krillin, Loping and others, while the Scions and Namekians are naturally all together. One day later, all the high-ranking officials of the Magic Martial Empire, except Big Oxing, decided to go together. According to Big Oxing, he was an intelligent mechanical life form after all, so if he stayed in the Milky Way, he could help them look after the development of the Empire so that it would not be messed up due to the departure of people like Piccolo. Gola didn't expect that there were only a dozen of them when they came, but when they returned, there were more than 100,000 people. Fortunately, Chi Tian also cultivated the inner world. Although it was not as terrifying as Sun Tian's current one that spanned dozens of star fields, it was not much smaller than the Mo'u star system. After letting all those who did not want to go to evacuate the Mo'u Saint Star, Sun Tian directly put the entire Mo'u Saint Star in it. Without the Demon Wu Holy Star, the 81 satellites of the Demon Wu Galaxy slowly deviated from their original trajectories. What the Demon Wu Galaxy would eventually evolve into was no longer their concern.